back to another edition of the J Area live stream. Appreciate you guys joining me again here. I mean, we just had one yesterday, but I tell you guys, I always look forward to these live streams. It's probably the best part of the YouTube channel itself and being able to connect with you guys. I see we already have some members in the chat already. Shout out to Sammy and to Zillow already. Saying can't wait for the live. You ready? This is like Wrestlemania. Hey, I appreciate all the hype and the anticipation. For me, as always, in regards to these live streams, it's a great way to interact with you guys, get your guys' take on what had just transpired on Monday Night Raw, or whatever the world of professional wrestling really has in store for all of us. Obviously, we just got through an episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, the main event, of course, being a steel cage match. Seth Rollins and CM Punk, two heated rivals. Shout out to Gabs in the chat. How you doing? Glad you're joining us here. Appreciate you as always, showing the support and showing the love. Kevin, can't wait for the WWE the next few years. Thrills each time. Kevin, shout out to Kevin in the chat as well. Already lively here on a Monday night. I've been seeing a lot of success when it comes to the vertical live streams. I think that's why you guys are going to be seeing more of those here in regards to our live streams here. It's been quite successful. We're getting a lot more traction here, and that's in large part thanks to all of you guys, those who have been here since the beginning and those who have been joining us along the way. Again, shout out to Gabs and Kevin in the chat, Zillow and Sammy as well. Some newcomers, some old comers as well. We appreciate you guys. What do you guys think? For those who had seen Monday Night Raw and how it ended, what were our thoughts on that finish? Kevin with the question out the gate. What's a WWE myth you believed in? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Kevin says Raw cooked tonight, 100%. I think it was great. Main event was solid. Let me get back to you on that question though, Kevin. I got to think about it. For the longest, let's see. Because obviously with wrestling, you have to understand it's like you have to be able to suspend your disbelief. You have to have that ability to believe in what is being told. I mean, it's no secret. It's predetermined, right? They like to throw out the F word and say it's fake. Well, it's orchestrated. It's planned out like a TV show, right? So we go off of what they want us to know and what they want to be presented on TV. But in terms of like an urban legend, in terms of that type of an aspect, I don't know if it's true or not, obviously, because it's a myth. But for the longest, there was that myth as to why Randy Savage was not a part of the WWE or mentioned for the longest. In 1994, Randy Macho Man Savage started winding down his career, wasn't really the physical competitor that they wanted him to be, so they relegated him to the commentary booth. They had him in the commentary team, voicing and commenting on the matches, essentially. That was his way out. He no longer wanted to be a commentary. He wanted to be a wrestler, which led to him joining WCW. But there was some rumors and speculation that maybe, again, they're just rumors and speculation, that there was some sort of an inappropriate relationship between the Macho Man and Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince. At that time, her age would have caused an issue there. And on top of that, it's the boss's daughter. So a lot of rumors and speculation. That's a myth for the longest. I kind of what took an interest to. I wouldn't say I believed in it, but it was something that I thought was always interesting. No one's really came out and said that it was factual or that there's any credence to the myth, but that's one that always sticks with me. Another one, another WWE myth, because they're rooted in reality. Another one is obviously Benoit, and that like some people think it was like an inside job. For the longest, I thought there was a possibility. I chalk it up to science now, where it's like, no, he had severe concussions and CTE, and that just led to his ultimate demise. But we could stay here all day talking about myths. Awesome question there by Kevin. Appreciate that so much. Raw Cook tonight, 100%. Johnny says I saw Roman Reigns attack Seth Rollins at the Empire. What do you, where? What's the Empire? Fill me in here. But yeah, honestly, a great main event. Seth and CM Punk delivered. It was a lot different than AEW steel cage match. They had Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher, a bloodbath, a blood feud really between the two. And this was WWE's take on it. There's two different takes on the cage match. AEW has theirs, and WWE obviously presented their version of it. Solid. The storytelling between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I love the promo The package they had leading up to the matchup, demonstrating what the last decade was like for these two individuals and why they were going to be contested in a steel cage match. Obviously, we knew that Roman Reigns was going to have some sort of involvement. I don't know if Dion's in the chat right now, but a big shout out to Dion. We posted a poll on the channel asking people did they think Punk or Rollins was going to win, and Dion in the comments had mentioned that they didn't think it was going to be clean. It was not going to be a clean finish. And obviously, in a steel cage match, it's difficult to pull that off, but they did. So shout out to Dion, called the interference. Roman interferes, takes Seth Rollins out of the matchup, giving him the victory unintentionally, and delivers quite the beatdown to Seth freaking Rollins. So again, shout out to Dion there in the chat. Zillow says it's funny how Paul Heyman was just sitting there watching Roman spear Punk. Drew is right. I mean, hey, Drew McIntyre, one of the best figures in pro wrestling right now in the WWE, and that sense of storytelling has been consistent. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, is he wrong? So to see how everything's transpired between Punk, Heyman, and Roman, the intrigue is there. The intrigue is there. I love the interaction between Punk and Heyman. It's a callback all the way back to their time in like 2012 when Heyman was the manager to Punk, and even further than that when Heyman was aligning himself with Punk in OVW, and ECW, and leading up to his ascension up the main card. I love that interaction there. CM Punk and obviously Roman Reigns have their differences, but the one similarity that they have with one another is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, who is the wise man to Roman Reigns, but was also a dear friend to CM Punk and also a mentor to him as well. So we knew that there was going to be some type of interaction between Rollins and Reigns, but to see CM Punk now entrusted in the middle of it, that's pretty cool. I think it's going to be a triple threat match. It's what's been rumored and reported for the longest. I think that's the call. I'm looking forward to it. Zillow says Kingston and Woods cooked 100%. 100%. Love the new take on the New Day. It's a fresh heel version of the group. Obviously, they were heels when they began the New Day, but Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods at the top of their game. Had a decent match. I'm not going to say a great match because not everything can be a great match, right? But had a really good match with the LWO's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. Obviously, that was interfered by a masked luchador. We don't know who it is. We have an idea who it is, but I mean, hey, we'll see, right? Kevin, it did. I'm just waiting for the WWE 2K25 to release. I think he's referring to like the widespread release because it was like that early access on Friday, and so this upcoming Friday, it's like into the physical copy, which is what I'm waiting for. I like having the physical copy. I'm just that kind of guy. What's up, hey, Tijuana Tacos says hi, all. Taco Tuesdays, that's right. That's right. We love it. Love it. What's going on? Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully Monday's treating you well and that the week will treat you even better. Kevin says, I love seeing Andrew Schultz clown Logan. Yeah, a lot of celebrity involvement in the Netflix era, which I think is great for everybody involved. It gives the celebrities kind of a little shine, and it also helps the WWE in terms of their promotion, right? You see all these celebrities at the shows, and someone's bound to have some type of connection, like, oh, I'm a fan of this person, and they're at the show. I'm a fan of this guy, and he's at this show. So it allows that opportunity for connectivity. I will say my favorite cameo, my favorite appearance has to be Macaulay Culkin, man. I mean, the guy gets it. He was there, obviously, in attendance with his brother Rory Culkin, who people who are familiar with Scream and the Scream franchise, he was in there for Scream 4. But seeing Macaulay Culkin in the crowd, he gets it. He knows how to work the camera, knows the presentation, the classic, bait and switch reveal that he likes to do when appearing on camera. Macaulay Culkin gets it, man. That was awesome. I did like the Logan Paul interaction there with him and Schultz. I thought Schultz came off as a natural, really played up the whole, we're not here to see you, Logan. We're here to see Punk and Rollins. We're here to see AJ. Thought he played his role well. And that opened the door for AJ Styles to make an appearance. And you already know, I'm a big fan of AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. Why not, Tijuana Taco says, fluffy hardcore fan as well. Yeah, Gabriel Iglesias usually makes his appearances as well to the shows. Fluffy, a big fan. Love it. He's no stranger to these wrestling events. I don't think he was in attendance for tonight. Maybe I missed it, but yeah, usually at the shows, he's a big ambassador for the WWE and for pro wrestling in general. So whenever we see these celebrities come out, it makes it so much cool. Not tonight. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think I saw him tonight, but you're right. He is a hardcore fan. He's consistently there, voicing his support. Obviously has some connections with the wrestlers as well online. So yeah, shout out to Fluffy there, to Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah, but again, the Logan Paul AJ Styles segment was good. I think that's obviously the match they're going to be going through for WrestleMania as AJ versus Logan Paul. I think it's a good choice. Logan Paul has proven to have some decent matches. Having good matches against the likes of LA Knight. He had a good match with a bunch of people. I'm drawing a blank right now at the moment, but LA Knight, Seth Rollins, a couple Manias ago, the U.S. title match he had with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. So to see him in there with AJ Styles, 100%, 100% down. You should react to full matches, any. You know what? I would love to. The only issue with that is like the copyright. We would try to have like these reaction videos, and 9 times out of 10, they get copywritten. And so it's either the video gets blocked or we have to edit it and it's like it's not there. So what I have been considering is having like a live reaction. So for example, like I'm here at my desk, I could be watching Monday Night Raw or NXT and provide like a live reaction. That's a possibility, but for full matches, I would love to. I would love to have like a scheduled day out of the week where it's like, hey, again, throwing out a day there, but like, hey, on Wednesday, join us. We're gonna watch something on YouTube because the WWE Vault channel is so good. We're gonna watch Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, whatever, you know, and then just join up in the chat. You think Roman, Seth, and Punk main event Saturday or regular match on Saturday for Mania? I think it's probably gonna main event Saturday night. I would love to see Io, Rhea, and Bianca as the main event. But Roman, Punk, and Rollins, I mean, that's tough. That's tough to top. I think they main event Saturday. I agree with Tijuana there. Oh yeah, Santi Zap is another YouTuber that tried to do that and it always got copyrighted. Yeah, dude, it's tough. It's tough, man. But maybe like a live reaction. Like for example, NXT is gonna be on tomorrow. Maybe I don't know. And I don't want to put forward and promise something that I know I can't fulfill. So a live reaction for PLEs would be nice. Yeah, no, for sure. Like for the chamber. But again, it's all about work too, because there's some days, I got a day job and we might be working. So yeah. D Glizzy. Thoughts on Metcalf to the Steelers. So we don't get to talk a lot about NFL, but Metcalf to the Steelers are loading up, right? These guys are revamping. They're trying to do something different, moving away from Justin Fields. And obviously they have the Russell Wilson issue. Not issue, but, DK Metcalf. It's good for us. I'm a Niner fan, right? So for the Seahawks to start losing their talent and their roster begins to deplete, it helps us. It helps us. But for sure. Steelers, that division's going to look nice. The AFC North, a lot of talent, a lot of competition in the North. So that'll be interesting. I would like to ask, how can we always be confident, not insecure, and overthinking? Can we just talk about how we had another great MSG show? They're on fire. Whenever that Madison Square Garden, they consistently put on good shows, and I think they recognize that because it's the mecca, it's home base, as Cody Rhodes would discuss in his promo. And it's New York, one of the top crowds in WWE. They're not, I will say, they're not as diehard as like Philadelphia, Canada, Chicago, but it's still historically a good crowd in New York. But yeah, another solid Madison Square Garden show. I'm looking forward to seeing how NXT does. It won't be in Madison Square Garden, but I believe it's adjacent. It's close to the arena, so should be a good show. Roman versus Punk at Mania. I think it's gonna be Roman, Punk, and Seth. I think it's a triple threat. They have beef all around. Seth is not done with Punk because he didn't beat him clean. Punk has beef with Roman because he cost him the match, and Roman has beef with Punk because of the Paul Heyman situation. So there's beef all around. I'm thinking triple threat for sure. Dethroned by Eli. So much for Rock and Roman. Yeah, it's a shame. I would have loved to have seen that match. Last year was the call. Don't think it was the right time. This year they could have done it. They didn't, and that's okay. That's fine. So maybe another time. Maybe next year. Hopefully. I mean, it's going to be in New Orleans. We'll see. I'm not giving up just yet. I think that's the end game. How can that not be the end game, right? Rock versus Roman is a big match. They're going to want to do it eventually. NFL fan too, Titans fan over here, and not much to cheer for. I hear you, Sam. I can't speak, obviously, because I'm not a Tennessee fan, but the Titans haven't really done anything of note for a while now. As a Niner fan, we had a tough day today, losing a lot of our key players, but so the world keeps turning. But the Titans, the benefit with you guys, though, is that division, for better or for worse, isn't really that competitive. The Jaguars are still finding struggles, even though their franchise quarterback is supposed to be Trevor Lawrence. The Texans look good. They're probably the best team there. The Colts are consistently there, but I mean, hey. So at least it's not an uphill battle. It's really like the Texans are the top of that division. Favorite faction? I'd have to say DX. Shawn, Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, China, X-Pac. I'd probably have to say DX. 100%. Thank you for that, Zilla. Roman return tonight was nice, triple threat at Mania, but I could see the Paul Heyman favor going into effect there. It has to, right? I don't know what it is. I still don't know what it could be, but I think it is a possibility that we're going to see it come to effect. Is it going to be Roman versus Seth, and then Punk cashes in on the favor and says, throw me in there too? I don't see him having to use the favor for that. I could definitely just see him being implemented into that matchup as is, right? But nonetheless, I mean, it's probably going to be a triple threat match, and the favor has to come into play. I agree with you there. No one wants Drew versus Priest. Zillow, I'm going to disagree with you. Only for this reason. I like Drew and I like Priest, but this matchup should solely be used to put over Drew. Drew needs the matchup. He needs this win more. Drew lost to Punk, and he had great matches, but I didn't see why. I don't see why we haven't pushed Drew. Hasn't consistently gotten victories. I think Drew needs to beat Damian. If Drew beats Damian, I'm fine with it. That's the right outcome. That's it. Damian Priest needs to be used better. He just came off of a world title loss, in the summer. They're still using him as that main event guy on SmackDown, which I think is the right call. Give him an opportunity to still develop his craft and get better. And him on the blue brand, I think, is a great call. I like the prospect of him versus Drew, and being that he eliminated Drew in the Rumble and the Chamber, this to me would suggest that Drew's going over at Mania, which is the only call. You cannot have Drew lose this matchup. If Drew loses this matchup, oh, I'm gonna lose so much faith in Hunter for that, because Drew's consistently been one of, if not their best guys. The MVP of 2024, if anything, was Drew McIntyre. DX versus NWO, 3 versus 3, who's winning? So I'm thinking NWO is Hall, Nash, and Hogan. DX, obviously Triple H and Shawn. That third guy, I mean, who are you going to put, X-Pac or, I think it'd have to be the NWO no matter what. They're probably going to book themselves to win. I just can't see who the third guy for DX is. You plug in X-Pac, I think NWO still wins. You plug in China, still give it to them. Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, 3 versus 3, I'd have to give it to the NWO. Not a big fan of the Hall of Fame at the Fontainebleau and not at the T-Mobile Arena after SmackDown. I can barely afford Mania tickets this year. It sucks. And recently they've been doing the Hall of Fame following the episode of SmackDown in the arena, and they wanted to do something different this year. I can respect that, but I do agree with you. It probably would have just been more beneficial to have it in the same arena, as the way they've been doing it. And it just depends on who else is going to be in there. Because if you only have Luger, Triple H, and Michelle McCool, how worth it can it be? With all due respect to them. I think they're still going to have Demolition in there. You guys already know. I'm a big fan of Cyndi Lauper for the Hall of Fame. She's got to go in there. But yeah, and again, when it comes to the tickets, dude, The tickets are already pricey. We talked about this, I think, on yesterday's stream, where I think a couple months ago I had checked the pricings, and it's like $7,000, $6,000 for like the nosebleed seats, which is just ridiculous, right? I mean, who like you have to save up a whole year's worth of work for that. It's crazy. I'm with you there. I'm with you there, tacos. Do you think Seth and Gunther lose again this year? You know, I think Seth does. Either Roman or Punk are gonna win. If it's a triple threat, either Roman or Punk are gonna win. Gunther's the one I'm interested in because he lost at WrestleMania 40, losing the Intercontinental Championship to Sami Zayn. Is he gonna do the same thing to Jay? Jay, I think, benefits more from the win, but it's just like in terms of the optics, I don't know if they want Gunther to have back-to-back losses in his first two WrestleManias. But as of right now, it's looking like it. It's definitely looking like it, Salvi. Shout out to Salvi there in the chat. Thank you so much. I'm watching AEW a lot more. Why? Help me. What are you talking about, Steven? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, AEW, they're a good show. Do they have their faults? Absolutely. But so does WWE. Look at the Shinsuke Nakamura reign. It's good to be consuming different products for wrestling. You know, you can't just stay with the one show. You got to experiment and enjoy a little bit more because, hey, there's something for everybody on every show. So why not? We need the Demon versus Penta. That'd be fire. That's an idea right there. Demon versus Penta? Wow. That would be fire. It's tough though, because the Demon character should be protected and Penta's relatively new. But that would be a fire matchup. A main event anywhere. Miss the Demon for show. Yeah, dude. But they're gonna wait for obviously the right time. The right time. Love it. 100%. Imagine if Tonga Loa returns and teams with Solo, Jacob and Tama versus Loa and Solo. No. No. He can't. He can't abandon Tama Tonga like that. No way. Plus, I like seeing him and Tama Tonga together. Keep them together. What will Cena say next to Raw? Sammy, that's a great question. I'm thinking Sammy. Okay, so hear me out. It's going to go one of two ways. Either Cena's going to give us the reaction and the reasoning as to why, and it's probably going to be something along the lines of, it's nothing personal, it's all business. He talked about during that press conference following the Royal Rumble that, hey, the best thing for business is for me to be in the main event as the champion. Cena's going to talk about how I should be the champion. I was the champion for so long, so long. And now, as my time is coming up, I have to remind you all that I am that guy. Yes, he's been on a losing streak in terms of the singles matches for a few years now. So it's more so of him reassuring himself and reassuring everybody else that, yes, I am that guy and I'm going to show you. And as well as, hey, maybe alluding to the fact that he has been on a losing streak. So he realized that things had to change. So when The Rock called him up and said, I want you to be my champion, there was that respect already between the two. There was already that common enemy with Cody Rhodes. Or what might also happen as the alternative is that the fans will boo John Cena and he won't say anything. And he'll do the mic drop thing again that we saw after the Elimination Chamber, something along those lines. One of the two. But we're looking forward to it. And dude, the fact that it's going to be in Belgium, you know, these next 3 weeks of Monday Night Raw, different start times. I know for us over here on the West Coast, Raw's going to be happening like at 12 and 1 o'clock for the next couple of weeks. That's crazy. Never in my days would I have imagined watching Monday Night Raw midday. But still. Zil says, I don't know why I'm asking right now, but tell me how good Rusev's WrestleMania entrance is. The Tank? Dude, stop. The Tank was fire. WrestleMania 31. Santa Clara, Levi Stadium, shout out Niners. Him coming out on the Tank was quite the visual. A great entrance. Awesome. Really gave him that intimidating factor, and how for him it was like putting a nation on his back going to war against John Cena. Shout out to Zillow there. That was a great pick. I wonder if Sammy will get his moment and win the world title. I think so. I hope so. Sammy definitely has earned it. He deserves it. I would love to see Sami Zayn win the world championship at some point. Maybe next year's Mania. Cody's was last year. Jay's is this year. Maybe next year is is Sami Zayn. But I would love to see it. Maybe next year. I agree with you. I agree with you. Rusev and Aleister Black coming back to the WWE. I don't know about Miro. I don't know. I would hope so. I like Miro, but I'm more of a fan of Aleister Black. Aleister Black in NXT was amazing. The presentation, the ring entrance, the moves, everything about Aleister Black to me screamed star. He goes to AEW as Malachi Black, has the feud with Cody Rhodes, and I still like the mystique, but they stuck him with the House of Black, and by no means is that bad. By no means is that bad because I like Brody King, I like Matthews, I like Julia Hart, but we never got to see Malachi as a single star as much as I would have liked personally. Him coming back to the WWE, I think would be fantastic. I'm sure they can carve out a spot for him, have some great matches against the likes of maybe Penta, even guys like Andrade, Mello, revisit Cody Rhodes, Gunther. Imagine him and Gunther, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, the AJ Styles. The possibilities are truly endless. I love it. I hope he comes back soon. Probably gonna be after Mania though. Probably like the SmackDown after Mania is my prediction there. Thank you, Tijuana, for that. Johnny says I'm a Roman Reigns fan. He's the awesome man. Ever since the change to the OTC to the Tribal Chief, he's been on fire. I agree with you, Johnny. Awesome. What's your favorite Roman match? I'm curious. Diwana asks, when is White 6 coming back? That's a good question. We've seen them have these little interruptions during Alexa Bliss's interviews and seen that there's some sign of connection there. When do they appear? I don't know. I'm thinking soon. I'm thinking before Mania. And it'll probably be in relation to Alexa Bliss. Hopefully soon, though. It's been a minute. I'm not sure. I think I might have read somewhere that Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, Taylor Rotunda, was dealing with an injury of some sort and was gone for a minute there. So maybe. I'm hoping soon. Thank you for the question. I was not expecting Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw today. For me personally, Johnny, thank you for that as well. For me, I was. Madison Square Garden, big time arena, Raw, big time match between Rollins and Punk. It only made sense because the last time we saw Roman, he was attacked by Seth Rollins, at the Royal Rumble, sideline him there for a minute. And so I feel like if he was going to return, it made sense to be here. But it was a great return. And I like that they did it as like a surprise. It wasn't with the grandiose entrance. Thank you for the hearts in the chat. It wasn't with this grandiose, entrance and it was able to be a surprise, and I like that. I like that about that. I don't care if it won't main event, but Mello versus Jacob Fatu would be dope. Hayes will make Fatu look dope. I think together they would make each other look great. I feel like that style between Mello and Fatu, it's a contrasting style in sizes. I feel like it would complement well with one another. I think Carmelo Hayes would be able to take a lot of bumps and sell fantastic for Jacob Fatu. I don't think it'd be a long matchup by any means, the way they've been, portraying Carmelo and Jacob Fatu, but certainly under the right circumstance, under the right story, even, it would deliver. I'm a big fan of both men. Zillow says they fumbled Otis, a couple times. Number one, in 2020, when they had Otis win the Money in the Bank briefcase, I still don't understand that move. I really don't. And then he wins it, and they proceed to do nothing with it, and he loses it months later to The Miz. If he wasn't going to ever cash it in, why even have him win the briefcase? That was the first fumble. But then we talk about the American Alpha and American Made story where he's already feuding with Chad Gable. We have that animosity building up, and we don't really get a payoff to it. We still haven't. And maybe that's them trying to chalk it up to, oh, it's long-term storytelling, which is fine as long as something comes out of it. But as of right now, yeah, Otis, I will say, I did like his showing against Gunther. That match against Gunther, I actually enjoyed. But it left a little bit to be desired in terms of his feud with Chad Gable. Thank you for the comment there, Zillow. Trevor says a triple threat for nothing, with nothing at stake, with Roman, Punk, and Seth, just seems very weird. I've always thought triple threats were a waste, with no title or contender's spot. I hear you. I do think for WrestleMania, it is a little bit odd that there's no championship involved in having a triple threat. I enjoy triple threats. I think it's a very difficult matchup to screw up, especially when you have the caliber of talent of those three men. Now, what they could do and add to this story, to this matchup, is the number one contender spot. Even if it's unofficial, whoever wins this matchup should be in position to challenge for the champion of their respective brand. Whoever wins this matchup is going to be elevated up the division for sure. And I think that can be with, being said with or without the official number one contender label on the matchup. But I do hear you. I do agree with you. It is kind of odd to have a triple threat match for no implications other than bragging rights, other than saying that I've beaten these other two guys. It's kind of becoming a blood feud, between the three. And usually it's a one-on-one type of a deal for a blood feud. But Roman has his issues with Seth for years. Seth has his issues with Punks for years. And then Roman and Punk have their issues for years, but it hasn't been really, portrayed as such in the WWE this last few months. I'm still interested in it, but I do think the number one contender spot for sure should have an implication in that matchup. Appreciate that, Trevor. That was a great comment, great point. Johnny says, "Do you think we're going to see Roman, Punk, Rollins at WrestleMania?" 100%. After what we saw today, 100%. I think Rollins versus Reigns was already in the cards, but seeing now Punk there, now it just tells me we're going triple threat. Tijuana says, "I'm only a few days old sub and not sure if you have mentioned this before. Where in the world are you located?" Well, first of all, I want to thank you and appreciate the fact that you subbed. Thank you so much for the support. Um, I'm glad that you're able to support us and have that interest in it. That means the world to me. We're out on the West Coast, North America. The best I'm going to give you is Arizona, obviously for certain reasons. But yeah, we're out there. WrestleMania 26, when it was here in Arizona, we were fortunate enough to go. But no, nothing but the heat. AJ says, "Did you get a chance to look up Roman versus Ricardo?" I didn't, AJ. I'm sorry. Didn't have a chance to look that up, buddy. I owe you that much. But I did not have a shot. Did not have a chance. But hey, if you're just joining us here on the live stream, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. We're talking pro wrestling. We talk about pro wrestling on Sunday, Mondays, and Thursdays. And of course, the occasional videos throughout the week. Mondays, we have our episode of the J Area Wrestling Podcast. If you didn't check that out, please do so. It's available now on YouTube. Wednesdays, we have videos. Fridays, we have videos. And we're trying to develop a consistent schedule in order to appease the appetite of all pro wrestling fans. So once again, thank you all for joining us on today's live and continue to support the channel, whether it's through the subscriptions, whether it's through the memberships, the comments, the likes, however you choose to do it. We thank you very much in helping us grow the channel as well. Johnny says, or asks, "What do you like about the NWO?" The NWO was one of those first instances where it was like the group taking over. And I know it's been done in other promotions, but the New World Order, number one, was the heel turn for Hogan, which I think was fantastic. It's my favorite Hulk Hogan, was NWO Hogan, because he played it so well. He plays a heel good because he's pretty much a heel in real life. The entrance, the theme, the t-shirt, it's classic. Everything about it, I think, is super cool. Those early years. The longer it went, it got inflated. Too many people were involved. It seemed like the whole roster was in the NWO. And then it became NWO 2000, Black and White, Wolfpack, and it just got too big. But that early, like 2 year span of the NWO, that was perfect. That was perfect. I went to Royal Rumble 2019 in Phoenix. You had a chance to go? Yeah, we did. Sanfran5 is in the chat. Sanfran5, say hello. That's my younger brother. We went, saw Royal Rumble 2019 where Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch would win the Royal Rumble. Got to see Brock Lesnar against Finn Balor. Also Asuka versus Becky Lynch. Absolutely. We had a chance to see the Royal Rumble in 2019 at Chase Field. Yeah, where the Diamondbacks play. That's awesome. That's awesome that you were there too. Sanfran5 says YouTube poop. There you go. What's going on, Muhammad? I see you in the chat. Says, "I hope you're doing well." Likewise. Hope your weekend, despite me being here yesterday, and same with everybody here. Hey, we thank you for participating and for showing out anyway. Appreciate that so much, Muhammad. One of our diehards here. Thank you so much. Sammy says, not gonna lie, it's hold on, not gonna lie, if it's Logan versus Punk at Mania, I would be more interested. Really? That's when I'm against that actually. I can see why. I think it's because of, CM Punk being the old guard. He's kind of like the Terry Funk of nowadays, that old veteran, right? And Logan Paul, the young gun, cocky, coming out from a different world of entertainment. I like the matchup between him and AJ. I think their styles will mesh well and have a good matchup. Um, I think Punk deserves better. No disrespect to Logan Paul, but I think his storyline should be something more meaningful. Not to say it wouldn't be a good matchup. I think they could deliver, but for me, I would like to see AJ in that position just a little bit more though. But appreciate that. Thank you so much, Sammy. AJ says Ricardo beat Roman clean, and I'm not lying. Dude, I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up. I owe you that much. And Tijuana Taco says NWO early years was badass. It was, again, and seeing like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash come out as the outsiders, we don't know who they are, or we know who they are. We don't know why they're here. That was awesome. That was awesome. When it was them three, that was key. I agree with you there, Tijuana. Shout out to TJ. Let's see. Trevor says Fletcher versus Will in a steel cage match was the match of the week. Blew tonight's away. Yeah, we alluded to that early on. It was two different types of cage matches. It was a perfect comparison of what the WWE is like and what AEW is like. If you ask me, I really enjoyed tonight's steel cage match between Punk and Rollins. However, when I think a cage match, that Fletcher versus Will Ospreay, I think I'd have to agree with you. Just in totality, was a better cage match. The drama, let's be real, the color that was involved in the matchup, I'd have to agree with you. Fletcher versus Will. And even if it wasn't in a cage, dude, that match was going to be fire. So shout out to Trevor there. What do I like about AJ and Dolph Ziggler? I'm going to answer that in terms of their bond when they were a heel group with Big E Langston too. I thought it worked well. Dolph Ziggler was always that kind of a wrestler who had someone in his corner, whether it was like a Vicky Guerrero, whether it was an AJ Lee. He didn't necessarily need somebody there, but to have AJ Lee, it was basically just because of the John Cena feud. She betrayed John Cena, sides with Dolph Ziggler. I thought overall it was a good group because he had the power in Big E Langston. You had the star quality in Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee, who was the best women's wrestler at the time in the division. I enjoyed that. I thought they were entertaining for sure. Muhammad says, "What do I think of Monday Night Raw?" I thought it was a good Raw. Love the steel cage match. It was the second best cage match of the weekend, but still love the cage match. Love the interaction between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. For me, that was perfect. Rhea and Bianca have their beef that they have to settle, but Io is over here like, hey, don't forget me. I'm the champion. So love that. Love the Texas Tornado matchup. The opener between Jay and Grayson Waller was fun. Solid episode of Raw. I enjoyed it. But of course, me, I'm easy to please because I look at the positives. So I wish Carmelo never got released. You know what? I get that, but I think it was probably for the best. I think it was best that Carmelo got released. And it's nothing against Carmella, but maybe the WWE didn't have anything for her. And so why are you going to retain someone and have them floundering away in the back or in catering? This maybe has an opportunity for her to try something else, go to a different company, try a different venture. And it doesn't mean she'll never be back. We've seen time and time again people come back. So maybe it wasn't the right timing. I will say when it comes to the comments about her thinking it was because she was pregnant, I don't know about that because we've seen people like, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, all had their pregnancies, all had children, and they came back. I think it was just a matter of, and again, it's my opinion. It's my opinion. I think it's a matter of maybe they didn't have anything for her. I do think where they are at fault is waiting until the 10-day mark prior to her contract expiring. You couldn't have given her a heads up early on. There was ways they could have done it. There was ways they could have done it better. Shout out to the Carmella fans, though. Nothing against Carmella. The original Money in the Bank winner. If not Punk, who do you think Logan's going to face at Mania? AJ Styles. I think that's who he's going to face. I'm going to try to catch up with the chat here. I love it, guys. You guys are bringing the heat here in the chat. Love it. Keep it coming. If Jay wins the world title, I say let him have it for a year and a half. Maybe then losing to McIntyre. Don't know about a year and a half, but I like the McIntyre idea. It makes sense to me. I think he'll probably hold it to like SummerSlam. I don't see Jay having a long title reign. If he wins, of course. Roman returned and attacked Rollins and Punk. It was awesome. It was a great call, great finish, an exciting way to end Monday Night Raw. And moving forward, it should be. I can't wait for WrestleMania, that is. Johnny says, what do I like about Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair? I like Charlotte Flair as a heel. I think she's great as a heel. She plays it well. It's a natural for her. It's in her blood. Becky Lynch, ever since the man character, right? When she had the blood coming down her face after the punch of Nia Jax, has this charisma and presentation about her, has this aura, if you will. The kids are throwing that word out a lot, so I'm going to use it. Fan of them, fan of theirs. Are you planning to go to Mania this year? I am not. I'm not planning to go to Mania this year. As we talked about, the pricing's crazy, dude. Plus, Mania this year is going to be falling on the weekend of my birthday, so we're just going to kick back, watch the show here at the crib, order some food. Actually, I already talked to my family. I said I wanted to grill, so we're going to be firing up the grill, make some burgers and hot dogs and whatnot, watch WrestleMania for the weekend. I will not be there for this year. If they ever come back to Arizona, though, hey, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. If you're in the chat and you're going to Mania or planning on going to Mania, let us know in the chat. I saw the segment where Kevin and Scott Hall played basketball with the TV championship and Chavo Guerrero was announcing it. It was a pretty funny moment. I'm not as well versed when it comes to WCW. I try to watch as much of the archives as I can. Thank you so much for the WCW YouTube channel. You know I'm already subscribed to that. So I'd have to look that up, but I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. What do you think is going to happen for the entire Solo bloodline after WrestleMania? I think Solo's going to get kicked out of the bloodline. I think Jacob, Tamatanga, Tangaloa, they're going to form their own thing. Solo's going to be on his own, going to try to rekindle his relationship with his brothers. But I do see Jacob Fatu being the next leader of whatever iteration of this group is going to be. It's going to parallel a lot to last year's WrestleMania, where Solo Sikoa recognized that losing has consequences. And Jacob Fatu now realizes, you lost. You're not our tribal chief. And we're going to have the Samoan Werewolf lead his own group. Thank you for that. Awesome question. Who's your favorite wrestler to never win the WWE Championship? Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper. All-time GOAT. All-time GOAT. As you guys know, just bought the DVD of They Live, starring Roddy Piper. Gonna watch that one of these days. But Roddy Piper, thank you for that. Too much women talent right now for Carmella to stay. They are really deep. They are really deep. And obviously with the signings of people like Stephanie, Julia, Zarya, Jordan Grace, it's too deep. And I think that's part of the reason why they're not going to have her come back. Do you think we're going to see Becky Lynch come back to the WWE? 100%. I think after WrestleMania. Look what happened. Carmella got complications due to this. I mean, hey, and everyone's situation is unique, Roman Reigns, que peor pelea. A veces me pregunta si es el mismo de antes. Roman Reigns is still good, It's just the problem is his style has changed. It's very heavy based on storytelling. The nuances slow it down. What do you like about Daniel Bryan and Kane? I like the odd couple type of a tag team between Team Hell No. Their segments were hilarious. I find them very funny to this day, especially with Uncle Shelby. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Will we finally hear the deal Paul made with Punk? Sammy asks. Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be in the lead up to the matchup this year. But I think so. Muhammad says, I do believe and think we will get three-way Punk Rollins. Yep, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a triple threat, Muhammad. They let Sonya and Baron go, so she can't complain about anything, and they judged Trish into PLE, so Carmella has no reason to be mad that WWE let her go. And it's like, it's a business at the end of the day. Yes, it sucks that they let her go with 10 days left in her contract, but it's unfortunate. It's the nature of the business. And it doesn't mean she'll never be back. She could be back. Tijuana Taco says, I only have a ticket for Sunday Night Mania. Anybody else going? Whoa. Yeah, that's the thing too, man. The fact that it's 2 nights, it's difficult to get 2 tickets, right? But Sunday night, yeah, you're probably gonna get to see Cena versus Rhodes. That's awesome. I'd love to hear you, back in the chat here after that and give us your experience for that. That's awesome. How do you like Guerrero and Mysterio teaming up? I was a big fan of both, especially the representation, from Mexico. which apparently, okay, I have a bone to pick with some people. I did one of those bingo cards where if you guys have seen on TikTok or on the shorts where you have a wrestler pop up and you have to match him to a bingo card. And I had to get someone to represent Mexico. And I got Dominic Mysterio, and I'm like, well, Dominic is of Mexican descent. I'm gonna put him there. And several people are telling me doesn't count. He's not from Mexico. And I'm like, is he still not Mexican? He's still of Mexican descent. Because if we're gonna go that route, Rey Mysterio's not from Mexico either. But is he still not Mexican? He still has Mexican descent. So I don't know that I felt the type of way about that. Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, though, two of my favorites growing up as a kid. Love them winning the tag titles at No Way Out. So many great memories when it comes to those two. Thank you for that. Trevor asks, what if Punk loses the triple threat at Mania? Cena beats Cody. We get number 17, then Punk cashes in the favor to get main event match versus Cena. Beats Cena, Mania. We can get 17 and Punk main events in one. I don't know, Trevor. Because okay, let's say he asks for the favor. How does that come into play with John Cena? The only way I could see that happening is Punk ask a favor of Paul Heyman, right? Who has a connection to The Rock via the bloodline. But why would they give him that championship matchup at WrestleMania? He just won the title. I just feel like it wouldn't work out. Could it happen at the next pay-per-view Backlash? Maybe. I don't know if it happens at Mania though. I like the idea, and I'm not against Punk winning. Definitely, he's my second favorite of all time. But I don't think it happens all in one night. Thank you though for that. That's a great perspective. I hope Omos comes back to the WWE. He just got done with Japan. We should be expecting him like any day now, but they never use Omos. The last time we saw Omos, was it not like in Paris, France, against or sorry, Lyon, France, for the Backlash pay per view? Oh no, I'm lying. I think it was the Puerto Rico pay per view against Seth Rollins in 2023. We don't see Omos enough. I want Jay to be something big this year, like 2021 Roman level. Amen. That's a lot of expectation. That's a high watermark for Jay. But maybe, if they play their cards right. What do you like about Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Bowes? I was never a Rick Bowes guy. I didn't like Rick. It wasn't for me. Their tag team partnership, I didn't care for, truthfully. Shinsuke, you guys know I'm a fan of Shinsuke Nakamura. Was not a fan of the title reign as the US title. They did little to nothing with it. It was a waste of Shinsuke's time, truthfully. His team up with Rick wasn't for me. I was upset though when he had that injury at WrestleMania 38. You hate to see anybody go down. And since then, it was never the same. Tijuana agrees. That sounds great, Trevor. Or sounds good, Trevor. Look at Trevor over here. Booker. I love it. LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso. Imagine if Jimmy started no chance in this rivalry. I could see it, man. I think Jimmy wins that USA title. USA wins the US title at some point this year. I like it, though. The problem with that is Cena's facing Cody Rhodes. I don't know which night, though. He's facing him on night 2. He was referring to maybe Cena beats Cody on night 2, and then Punk cashes in that favor to get the matchup against Cena. But I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe a different show, but not on the same night. Andrade, just athletically gifted. I mean, again, a great representation of lucha libre and just Mexican heritage. He's gotten better with age. I definitely think so. His time as the NXT champion, I think, is an underrated time. Great matchup against Johnny Gargano. That matchup against Johnny Gargano at NXT Philadelphia, fantastic. 5-star matchup. One of my all-time favorite NXT matches. Andrade definitely is someone that should be used more prominently. I'm a big fan. Will Ray lose his mask in his last match? I think so, Salvi. If I'm booking it, it's hair versus mask. Dominic defeats Ray, sending him into retirement. I think so. Hey, how's it going? What's up, Kent? Hopefully Monday's going well for you, buddy. Thank you for joining us here on the live stream. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Sammy says, if Super Cena is back, Cody is screwed. Yeah, dude. Hey, thank you so much for the sub, Kent. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, buddy. Welcome to the J area. Muhammad says passing of the torch. It could go either way. It's really tough. It's a toss up. It's a toss up. Addicted to success with the Canadian flag. We love our friends and families over in the northern side of the border. Shout out to Canada, home of some of the best wrestlers of all time. Shout out to Canada there. Um, they keep coming, man. Passing the torch. Yeah, it could go either way. It can go either way, honestly. Between Cena and Rhodes, I want to see how we progress with this. If you ask me right now, I think Cody wins. But I don't think you turn Cena heel just to have him lose at Mania. But do they have him win the championship this early into the run? I mean, we still have like 9 months. I don't know, dude. Let's see. Ray versus Dom for retirement match will be fire. It has to be, right? And Ray has, well, sorry, Dominic hasn't beaten Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. Maybe they do it again. Have him finally defeat Rey Mysterio. That'd be cool. I would not be against it. Zillow wants to face Dom. Beat him up for us, man. You gotta knock that smug smile off of his face for all of us here. Johnny says, I used to like Kevin Owens. It sounds like he's a bad guy, but he is kind of justified. You know, I mean, in terms of the Cody Rhodes stuff, Sami Zayn not supporting him, he may sound like a bad guy, but he has a little bit of a, reasoning behind it. Ken says hurting, but just stumbled across your channel. You know what? I hope everything works itself out, in due time. Anyway, I appreciate you coming and joining us. This is always a great opportunity for me to link up with other pro wrestling fans, and the fact that you're choosing to spend your time with all of us here, that's awesome. That's awesome. Appreciate it. And again, we hope nothing but the best for you, buddy. You should start a wrestling podcast with your brother. I'd love to. Sammy, I'd love to have my brother on more, but obviously we have our own schedules going on. I would definitely love to incorporate him more, but out of respect for him and his time, I don't want to tie him down to a commitment if he's not able to fulfill it. He sometimes appears on the stream. Sometimes we have him as a guest. Sometimes I appear on his channel. His channel, San Fran 5. You can find that on my homepage at the very bottom. There's a link to San Fran 5, the YouTube channel. He does the occasional stream, usually just games. He does WWE games, Halo, Resident Evil on occasion. So, but I would love to have him as a consistent guest for sure. We have great conversations between he and I too. I feel like he really brings out a lot of personality when it comes to me. I'm still getting used to this one-on-one action here on camera. When I have him next to me, I think it really opens me up personally. Muhammad says Cena. That's crazy. Zillow shout out with the New Day versus Uso Hell in a Cell. I just got a notification. The Warriors just beat the Blazers. Right on, Warriors. New Day versus Usos Hell in a Cell is underrated. A great Hell in a Cell match, right? New Day Usos, one of the best tag team rivalries of all time. Shout out to Zillow. Tijuana Tacos laughs. LOL. Cena winning and losing it later to Randy, from what I heard. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Having him lose to Randy. And I think that would give Randy number 15, if I'm not mistaken. Matchup has to take place at some point, though, Kent. I like where your head's at. Johnny says, I like the match of Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. I forgot what WrestleMania. WrestleMania 38, back in 2022, Dallas, Texas, AT&T Stadium. My memory, as you can see, I'm a fan. I got to find other hobbies. But it was WrestleMania 38. I was a fan of it as well. It was cool. Trevor says, I have a hunch Dominic somehow gets to Mania. What is he going to do? Is he going to be in the Braun Breaker Intercontinental title matchup? I still think Braun Breaker is going to have a multi-man match for the IC title. I like Dominic, though. Growing, consistently becoming better at what he's doing. One of the best heels, I think. He's going to be a future world champion, folks. He has to be, right? It's in his blood. Love it. Tijuana Tacos. Stone Cold has been teasing about coming out at Mania this year. You think he will appear? If I was a betting man, which I am, I think he's there. Who is the best rival to The Rock? Stone Cold. Who was not there at WrestleMania 40? Stone Cold. I think he has to be there. I really do. And to hear that glass shatter at WrestleMania, come on now. Come on now. I want to see it. Johnny says, my Houston Rockets won today against the Orlando Magic. Congrats. Congrats on that. But they are a rival to the Warriors. So hey, I can't be too happy for you. But congrats on the dub. Rockets are looking good. They have a promising young core there as well. Dominic needs to ditch Liv and go solo. Sammy, I agree with you. You know, like I think it kind of wore itself out here. I want to see Dominic away from the Judgment Day. He can still be with, Liv and Raquel for a little bit there, but I do think it's time for the Judgment Day to disband. I think they've ran their course. I think eventually we're going to see Dominic versus Finn Balor. I think they've squeezed out as much as they can, essentially, out of this feud or out of this faction. So I'm with you, Sammy. 100% I'm with you. Zillow says, I'll bet a bunch of money that Kaiser will win the IC title. I'm not against it. I like Kaiser. I think he's improved really well. They're kind of separating him from Gunther and letting him become his own man and his own star. I like it. I'm with it. Is it at Mania? Don't know. But this year, I could definitely see Ludwig Kaiser win. What do you guys think in the chat? Kaiser as IC champion? Let me know in the chat. Not Finn Balor for the IC. I think Finn Balor is a good choice too. Maybe even Penta. We saw some interaction there. But whoever beats Braun Breaker, that's going to be big for them. That's going to be definitely big for them. Kent says it's a toss-up between Austin and Triple H for the Rock Great Reveal. Triple H is a great choice here, and it makes perfect sense because The Rock is TKO. He is the board of director, right? And seen as the company man. Cody, the face of this year, or this generation. And Triple H is the man. He's essentially running the show. So it makes sense for Hunter. The only issue with that is his health. We know he has a condition with his heart. Is he going to be able to become active for just a one run in? I don't think so. I don't think they risk that. I think Austin's the safe bet here. But I do think Triple H is probably the better fit. But for physicality, I think it's going to be Austin. Not a bad pick there, though. Shout out to Kent, though. Appreciate that, buddy. Speaking of Orlando Magic game, I had been to one on April 23rd. Damn, that was 15 years ago. Did they end up winning? Are we going to see Goldberg fight in his last match? Johnny, I think so. I think Goldberg's going to have one more matchup, and if I had to pick against who, I think it's Goldberg versus Gunther. They teased that not too long ago. I think it was at Bad Blood. I think it happens. I think Goldberg gets his final match against Gunther. Intercontinental ladder match has happened at WrestleMania. Why not do it again? Trevor, I'm inclined to agree with you. I love a good ladder match. It's my favorite stipulation, a multi-person ladder match at WrestleMania. That's in my bag. Love it. Love it. It's a great idea. Finn Balor deserves a belt. Finn Balor deserves a good run. This man hasn't held a championship, a singles championship, in a few years. He last held the U.S. title. I think he desperately needs to be in the main event picture. He deserves the world. Big fan of Finn Balor. Muhammad says, I saw Michael Jordan live in person. That's fire. The GOAT. Ken says, who's going to be the new member when Finn gets fed up with Dom and the rest wanting new member for stable? I saw a theory going around that Malachi, a.k.a. Aleister Black, could take over the Judgment Day and rebuild it as his own to like the root of the Judgment Day where it was like a dark, sinister type of a group. But other than that, I genuinely don't have an answer. I don't know who it could be, Kent. It's a great question, and they wouldn't be hinting at it for no reason. I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. Who do you think could be a new member of the Judgment Day? Because that's a great question. Punk will win the Rumble next year and challenge Cody Rhodes. It's soon to book that. Maybe. They do want that Cody versus Punk match, though. They've been hinting at it. I like where your head's at, Zillow. Not against it. I thought he was going to win this year, truthfully, and face like Gunther, but not the case. Johnny says, are we going to see any more surprises in the WWE? Buddy, is the sun going to rise tomorrow? Come on now. Pro wrestling is full of surprises, and it's the best part of pro wrestling. You better believe we're going to see some surprises, probably within the next week, whether it's on Raw, whether it's on NXT or SmackDown. There's always something in store for pro wrestling fans. I love it. That's why I can't get rid of this wrestling bug. I've heard Gunther, but I could see it being against the Maverick. No way. You think so? I don't know, but maybe. But I think Gunther would make the most sense. I don't know, but regardless, you know how I feel about, well, for people who are familiar with the channel, for the new ones, hey, welcome. Welcome aboard. Appreciate you stopping by. But I'm not a fan of wrestlers going too long in their careers. If Goldberg wants one more match, fine. Have it be Gunther. Have him lose in like 7 minutes or less. Nothing more, nothing less. Trevor says Steve Austin was CEO for a storyline, so it works. Yeah, I mean that's funny you said that because I was actually rewatching that episode of Monday Night Raw last Friday, Thursday, I don't know, where he's like instructing the receptionist on how to answer the phone or during the board meetings, and so it's funny you mentioned that. So he does have a history of being a CEO, but how does it work nowadays? Because that was 6 years ago. So in the current regime, does it work? You can always bring up the fact that he's anti-establishment, The Rock as the boss, and Austin hates the boss. I'm sure there's a way they can finagle it into an angle. Gunther has to face Brock Lesnar first time Gunther has to face Brock Lesnar first before wrestling. I disagree. I don't think he has to, Muhammad. I would love to see Lesnar versus Gunther. That's the last match I need to see for Lesnar. Aside from that, I'm good with not seeing Lesnar again, but I would love to see Lesnar versus Gunther. I do not think it needs to be in a particular order, though. Goldberg, please don't get tired or having a concussion like you did with... Yeah, that was a bad look at Crown Jewel. I agree. That's why I think it should be a short matchup. I don't think it should be long. Get in, get out. No more, no less. We want to make sure everyone's safe. Oni Oni says, hi. Hi, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the live stream. Muhammad, or I do think Goldberg should have 2 matches, especially with Braun Breaker. Okay. You might have changed my mind. Goldberg versus Gunther, and have Goldberg get squashed by Braun Breaker. You changed my mind. If it's 2 matches, and those are the 2 matches, I'm not against it. James asked, Pokemon Go, yes or no? I never played it. I watched Pokemon as a kid, had the cards, watched the show. But over time, I kind of grew out of it. And that's not to say it's bad. I never will ever. The saying goes, yuck, someone's yum. If someone enjoys Pokemon and Pokemon Go, please, by all means. But for me personally, it was never my thing. Do you think WWE should induct Umaga? Maybe. The reason I'm so hesitant is because Umaga, also known as Jamal from 3 Minute Warning, he wasn't with them for too long. But as my brother would say, the fact that Drew Carey and Coco Beware are in the Hall of Fame, it opens up for anybody to be in the Hall of Fame. Umaga, I think, at that time in the Ruthless Aggression era, was one of the best heels they had. I loved his stuff with John Cena at New Year's Revolution at the Royal Rumble event in 2007. But it's tough. I wouldn't be mad. If they put him in the Hall of Fame, I wouldn't be mad. That's tough, Sammy. Because I don't want to be like, no, he shouldn't be in it. If he doesn't get in it, I get it. And if he does go in it, I'm happy for it. Do you think Sting introduces Lex this year? I think he has to, Kent. I think he's the right call. The only thing is, will the WWE allow it? Because I think AEW wouldn't have a problem with it. They had Billy Gunn go for the DX induction. It's just, will it happen? Because we know Sting is tied to AEW. I think he should. If it's not him, it's going to be DDP. I think Diamond Dallas Page for sure. But those are the 2. Number 1, Sting. Number 2, DDP. But Lex going in the Hall of Fame is great. Happy for him. Congrats. We sent out a quick congratulations to Lex in the episode of today's video. So, as if I know the guy personally, but still. Congrats to Lex. Muhammad says, man, I wish he was still around and with us today. Had he gone to rehab, I truly believe he would still be alive today. I don't know. We would hope. But at the end of the day, we don't know when our time is, up, when it's time to go. We only appreciate the time that we have, right? And Umaga gave us a lot of great memories, great matches, and contributed to this great thing that we all love as pro wrestling. So rest in peace to Umaga, one of the members of the biggest wrestling dynasty of all time. We need Travis Scott to put through a table at Mania. Trevor, I'm with you, buddy. 100%. I think I think Travis has to get his. That slap he gave to Cody, Cody's going to be looking for a receipt. He's going to look to get, his. Put him through a table. I don't know how. But yeah, Travis Scott got to get what's coming to him. And then Bully Ray. Bully Ray? Put him through a table? I don't know. I'm not against it. I like Travis Scott. But I will say that slap and the liberties that he had taken with Cody, I don't know. Oh, Umaga did die of a drug overdose. But still. What's the favor according to you? When we talked about the favor, I honestly thought there was going to be a possibility that Cena goes to the chamber, he wins, he faces off against Cody, and then Punk somehow gets into the main event, and kind of alludes to The Rock that, hey, I'll be your champion, or whatever, lies to him just to get in there. I thought he was going to use that favor to get in the main event. But right now, I'm thinking it's going to be Seth versus Roman. That's the matchup. And Punk is going to have the favor of, I want to be in this matchup. Or Paul Heyman, I want you in my corner. Or I want you in a neutral corner or something. I think that's going to be what it is. If it's in relation to WrestleMania, I do think there's a shot here that maybe we don't see the favor at WrestleMania. Maybe it's still down the line. Maybe we hold off on it. But if I had to answer your question there, I think it's him getting into this Roman versus Seth matchup. I think. Thank you for the question, though. Appreciate that. Keep them coming, guys. You guys are doing awesome. This has been one of our... I feel like I've said the last few of the live streams, but this has been great. Hey, what's going on? Peter Wold. Thanks for joining us again, buddy. Long time no see. It's only been a day. Glad you can join us, my friend. Thank you so much. I guess Seth versus Roman versus Punk. The winner gets to WrestleMania Night 2 main event. That might be good. I think it's going to be... Of course, I remember you, buddy. I think it'll be like a number one contender spot. I don't think it'll be for Night 2. I think maybe the next PLE, like Backlash, and whoever wins this triple threat, the implication of them being next up with the title, I think for sure. I don't think it'll be Night 2, though. I don't think they're going to want to mess with Cody versus for Cena. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just going off of what I've seen in wrestling's, history. Not a bad take there. Muhammad, any chance of Travis Scott being successful as Bad Bunny when it comes to being WWE? I don't know the contrast and comparison between the two. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see because Bad Bunny, I don't think anybody knew that this guy was going to be able to have a solid outing at WrestleMania 37 and at Backlash. Maybe he's just as good. I know there's reports saying that he's been training. I don't know. Is there a possibility? Yes, there's always a possibility. Do I think it happens? No. I don't know. I think Bad Bunny is an anomaly. Who have you... Who you have? Oh, who do I have between Jay and Gunther? As of right now, Jay. I'm going to go with Jey Uso. I just feel like everything's pointing towards Jay. Maybe they surprise us. Let's see. Do you think they're going to give Cena the title? I think this year for sure. I think Cena gets number 17. It's just a matter of if it's at WrestleMania. That's the question, right? I do think he gets the title. Right now, I'm leaning maybe 55% Cody Rhodes and 45 John. It's close, man. I want to see how their interactions are, leading up to the show, though. That's going to be a big indicator of where they're going to go. You can get my YouTube feed is stormed with WWE stuff now. It's hot, dude. It's hot all over the world. You know, pro wrestling is on fire. I don't doubt it at all. I guess you're right. Oh, come on. Don't be. Oh, come on. Let's be nice. He's correcting him. I Show Speed. I don't know about I Show Speed. I think it was a great one-off at the Royal Rumble. Don't expect him to be a wrestler though. She is not thinking about you. Move on. That's crazy. That's funny. Um, do you not like new era caps? No, it's nothing against it. I like the snapbacks. The ones I don't like are like fitted, but it's like when it comes to like new era caps, I have no preference as long as they're adjustable. You know, I don't care on what type, but I gotta support my Giants. Gotta support my Giants. But I have nothing against them. San Fran 5 says I do. Oh, so you don't like fitted? I only like the fitted ones. Yeah, it's literally that's the only style I don't like. I like to being able to adjust them. Kent says when Cena comes out on Raw, is he gonna be both on Raw and SmackDown after? Don't know his schedule. I think for sure Monday Night Raw. I hope SmackDown because Cody is technically on SmackDown, so I would love to see that interaction for sure. The more Cena, the better, right? But we understand he does have a select number of dates to his appearances. Muhammad says we got that one. If you guys keep seeing that I look over to the right, it's because I have the chat on the screen over as well, just because the vision's not the best over here. I Show Speed should get more physique and more muscular. If he wants to be in the ring, yeah, I agree. I agree. If he wants to wrestle, that is. You deserve more subs, bro. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much. You know, we've been on this venture for about a year now. We originally started off as a channel for sports, football, basketball, transitioned to transitioned to film, and then I wanted to be able to kind of combine the two, sports and entertainment, and it's like pro wrestling, dude. Been a fan my whole life, so we've dedicated to just this. So we made the switch March of last year, and since then we haven't looked back. Last year, like literally March 1st of last year, we were at 149 subs, and in a year's time we're about to hit 3K. So all the support means the world to me, and the growth in the channel wouldn't be possible without all of you guys. So shout out to all of you guys, man. The real MVPs of the stream. Sanford says, I like hats. Dude, his hat collection is insane. It is. You guys wouldn't believe it. I know first time back last Raw this month. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But still, him coming back, it's going to be next week. They advertise he's going to be there for Raw next week, so it should be a great showing. And in Belgium, no less. All these YouTubers trying to be fighters is just to attract their audience to the arena. That's it. It's more of a joke. Yeah, it's all publicity. It's all promotion. It's all business. No more, no less. I agree with you 100%. 100% Peter World. Should AJ Styles' last match be in TNA? I don't know if it should be. I definitely think he should have one more match before he hangs them up. And the fact that they're able to partner with TNA is a great opportunity there. I do think he should have one more match. I don't know if it should be the last one, but definitely. Sanford, where are you from? Same place as me, buddy. That's my brother. Do you think Cena and Austin have an in-ring moment with The Rock this year? I do. I do. For sure. How can they not, right? I think Austin makes an appearance at Mania, helping Cody. That's my prediction. I was told in-ring match. Oh, I just realized you had mentioned Tyson. But even then, Tyson didn't wrestle. I mean, he had the one tag team match, but that was like in 2010. He didn't wrestle. The guys like Logan Paul and all of them wrestling, there's the difference. Shout out to, I see the 100s. It's a disrespect to the athletes who put their lives on the line for entertainment. Agreed. Even though it's scripted, it's not a joke, doing all those crazy stunts. That's one thing too. A lot of people look at wrestling and they're like, "Oh, I could do that." It's like, it's a lot of training, a lot of responsibility, and the danger that comes with these maneuvers. Even though they are predetermined and choreographed in a sense, still a dangerous game to be playing. So I'm with you there. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Pierre Walt says, "Hey Salvi, what's going on?" Sean, what's going on? Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. What's up, Sean? But yeah, no, I want to hear from you guys though in the chat. What are your thoughts on the build of WrestleMania? Paywall, let's see that scary movie painting, please. The one over here. If I can move it. There it is. Do you think Punk heel turn? Sean, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see him turn heel. But I think Punk has gotten to the point where it doesn't matter if he's a heel or not. People will still cheer him. I think eventually, yes. I think we do see a heel turn at some point just to keep it fresh. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, is it even a heel turn? You know? But I do think so. Depending on how much of a shoot it is on how real it gets. Yeah. Yeah. Like for any matchup. You're 100% right, Kent. Most random thing WWE has ever done. Oh, is that the question? The Travis Scott involvement. I remember when he came out for Elimination Chamber, I'm like, what the hell's he doing there? So I'd have to say that. Aside from that, maybe the Mae Young, where she gave birth to a hand. That one's pretty random. I saw that clip where Austin is eating at a bar and Eddie calls his girl Deborah's a beautiful lady or something. Eddie's underrated. Eddie, for me, is just all around one of the greatest of all time. Could make you laugh, could make you cry, could make you hate him, could make you cheer him, could go in the ring, good on the mic, all around. Just if you wanted to model your work after someone, I think Eddie has to be in consideration. Just an all time great, a GOAT. Trevor says, when did you start watching wrestling? My first ever thing I watched was WrestleMania 17 back in 01. What a start. Arguably one of the best WrestleManias of all time. What a start. Vertigo, yeah, been watching over 20 years. That's what I think we connect. Trevor, I think so too, because I don't know if it counts. Hear me out. Say, I was born in 98. I started watching wrestling at the age of 2. My dad, my parents, they watched WCW Nitro. My grandpa watched SmackDown. My family has always been fans of wrestling. So at 2 years age, I'm watching TV and I'm absorbing the stuff that I can pick up on. The Rock was one of the first guys I started watching. This was in the year 2000. So the year 2000 is when I started watching wrestling. Again, very young, very what's the word I'm looking for here? I was an impressionable kid, very impressionable. So things stuck with me, and The Rock and his personality, the charisma, the way he spoke on the microphone and ran down his many opponents in the ring stuck with me. I connected with him because he had that confidence I think we all strive to have. So 2000 is when I started watching. But the memory, obviously as a young child, retained in 03. I can remember watching John Cena as the doctor of Thugonomics. I can remember seeing The Undertaker rolling on his motorcycle. So I started watching in 2000, but the memory really holds until 2003. Got bit by the wrestling bug, and I haven't been able to quit it ever since. It's been with me since then. Been a diehard fan, and that's part of the reason why we're doing the channel, right? Talk about something that you love. The passion for it doesn't die. So thank you for sharing that, Trevor. What a time to start WrestleMania 17. What's one of your favorite matches of all time? I'm curious. But yeah, I think that's why we connect too. Appreciate that, buddy. Kent says, I grew up in a wrestling family. Trust me, I know firsthand. No kidding. In a wrestling family, how so? PA World says, I lie, cheat, and steal. That's the motto. Kent, you mean like Bret Hart and Owen Hart? What and dude, Bret Hart and Owen Hart, probably the best brother versus brother matchup of all time. You started watching during the best era, the Attitude Era, yeah. But I will say I connect more with the Ruthless Aggression era because that's again where the memory retains. But again, the impression of like The Rock, Austin, and Taker, those guys stick out in my memory as a young child, and then obviously in the 2000s is where it really sticks out. Ken says I'm turning 43 this year. Happy early birthday. Watched it my whole life. If that wasn't at my house, if they wasn't at the house watching me and my siblings. But even then, like the whole life, I think it's very tough when you grow up as such a fan of something. And it's that nostalgia. That's why we stay with it. Oh, okay, I missed that. Mr. Wrestling 2? Really? No way. So yeah, like you've been surrounded by it your entire life. We've had that's interesting too to have people who have ties to the business. We have someone, a member of the J area, who subbed to the channel not too long ago. P Dub. He said he was also in the independents as a wrestler, so he has ties as well. But I mean, to hear someone who has a family member in the business offers a different perspective because obviously P Dub um, took part in the indies, so firsthand. But it's like you grew up with it around you. You know, it's like you know nothing but the business, which is an interesting perspective to look at it from. So, hey, Ken, I just want to say I appreciate you, you know, stumbling upon the channel and joining us and having the conversation. We love having people of different walks of life, different backgrounds, different experiences join us here on the live streams. And that's why I love doing these live streams, being able to connect with you guys on another level because I can make the videos throughout the week, but to have this interaction here, for me, like I said at the top of the stream, is the best part of the channel. So shout out to Kent there, as well as PA World for the great comments. Trevor bringing the heat as well with the great questions and comments and the participation. Sanfran 5 joined us. Sean was in there with us as well. Salvi, per usual. Thank you so much, my friend. Just want to give a quick shout out. Muhammad as well. Giving a quick shout out to everybody here who's been in the stream. James, Sammy, Sam, Johnny as well, Zillow. Very, how could I forget? It's Tuesday. Shout out to Tijuana Tacos as well. A lot of people so far in the chat, man. Making it lively. We appreciate that. Continuing to make this into one of the best. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but one of the best independent wrestling channels there are. AJ's there as well. I'm trying to give as many people a shout out as I can. Gabs, I know, was there as well. Shout out to Gabs as well. Gabs is one of our longtime viewers as well. You know, one of our OGs. So shout out to Gabs, a member of the Main Event Mafia as well. Don't know if I shout out Salvi already, but I'll shout out Salvi again. Dethroned by Eli. Dude, we have a lot of people that have been in this chat. Kevin, again, another OG. And Mama Ramos right there with the cameo as well. Has the United States Championship right by their username. That indicates that they're a member of the Main Event Mafia. If you are interested in having a championship and a highlighted name in the chat, become a Main Event Mafia member where we're going to be uploading exclusive content, polls, quizzes, and other, you know, incentives for people to join. The United States Championship indicates that they've been a member for, I believe, 2 months, 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. You begin with the NXT title, then the Cruiserweight title, and now that U.S. Championship resides right by Mama Ramos' name, current holder LA Knight. So yeah, big shout out. For those of us who are just joining the live stream, my name is Jose Ramos Jr., big fan of pro wrestling, been a lifelong fan of pro wrestling for a wrestling channel intended for pro wrestling fans by a pro wrestling fan. If you guys are new, we do these live streams Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Sunday's kind of our hangout sesh. Monday is kind of like a raw talk. Thursday is designated for our Throwback Thursday streams. For example, we have a post up, we have a community tab where I post these polls on where we're able to vote for the topic at hand. This week, we have 3 options. We have a career retrospective for Shawn Michaels, who I think is the greatest of all time. We have the possibility of ranking every WrestleMania logo, which that's something I want to pursue and try in one of these videos coming up. Or a recap and a review of one of the Dark Side of the Ring episodes focusing on New Jack. New Jack, one of hardcore wrestling's infamous figures, obviously his time in ECW, and of course the incident known as the Mass Transit Incident, where a young aspiring wrestler has a near death experience. So, if those are some topics you're interested in for Thursday's live stream, make sure you go check out the community tab, place your vote, and have a hand in deciding what will be the topic we discuss on Thursday's stream. Trevor says, one of my favorite matches of all time would have to be Stone Cold versus Hunter in the Three Stages of Hell, No Way Out 2001. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was the first of its kind, Three Stages of Hell. Obviously, they had the cage match, the no DQ matchup, Triple H and Stone Cold, a great rivalry, and it was the lead up to WrestleMania 17. So, hand in hand, man, hand in hand. That was a great year, 2001. San Fran knows. Kent says, and if I wasn't trained to take a bump, I'd be dead right now. Because back on May 23rd, whoa, 67 miles per hour. Wow, that's rough. 60. That's boy. Hey. First of all, we're glad you made it out, and we're glad you were able to join us. That's ridiculous. How do you know he was a locksmith? A locksmith van. My fault. I read that wrong. Locksmith van. I'm thinking it was a straight up locksmith. Still, though, that's a hell of a bump to take. But again, glad you're able to recover and you're here joining us. It's amazing to hear the different experiences of people who join us in the chat. Because obviously, as you know, the only one you get to see is me. You get to see my mug here. But to hear the stories shared by all of you, it allows us the opportunity to kind of get to know each other. And so, first of all, I want to thank you for sharing with us. And of course, we're glad that you're obviously here with us. But wow. What's going on, Jesse? Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Appreciate you, buddy. Muhammad, yeah, go for it, Muhammad. Any question, go for it. My favorite match is probably Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, the Halloween Havoc match, 1997, for Mask versus title. I'm a big Rey and Eddie guy. That's probably my favorite matchup of all time. Real close behind it, Taker versus Shawn. Honestly, any one of them, but Mysterio, Eddie. Welcome, Brody. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Brody. They had to bring me back to life 17 times because they didn't know I was diabetic. Good God. Man. And that's my thing too. So I don't want to make this, dramatic or, you'll get where I'm coming from when I say this. People ask me when they say, "Hey, how you doing?" My first response is always, "I'm doing well, got nothing to complain about." Because genuinely, there are people out there who have had rougher experiences, who have had these trials and tribulations thrown their way, and have endured more challenges than I could have endured. So who am I to be complaining? So hearing this story that you're sharing, Kent, is a testament to there are so many other problems in the world. And for people who want to feel bad for themselves for the minor things in life, where there's stuff out there which is way more serious. Nothing to complain about. And again, 17 times is ridiculous. That's called Survivor. That's a Survivor. Thank you for the hearts in the chat. Wow. I'd like to think usually I have the words, but you left me speechless, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us. Genuinely. And I hope to see you in these future streams as well. PA World says Undertaker versus Yoko was my favorite feud growing up. They had the coffin match. Never forget Royal Rumble 94 where Taker elevates to the top of the arena. Classic moment there. Shout out to Yoko. Had Benoit not died, who do you think he would talk to? Who do you think we'll talk to? Benoit probably would have had still conversations with his family. Chris Jericho, Lance Storm, Ray, Chavo, all the people that he talked to now, the people that we knew he would talk to. Do you think that Jade versus Jade Cargill or Bianca versus Jade Cargill? I think so. I don't know when it happens. Shout out for the hearts in the chat. Thank you so much. I think Jade versus Bianca is the move. It's just a matter of when. SummerSlam, maybe? Next year's WrestleMania? I do think it's going to happen. 100%. I think it's the move, Jesse. It's just a matter of when they want to pull the trigger. And will you be watching NXT tomorrow? I do plan on it. NXT Roadblock. Yeah, they're going to be in New York again. Oba Femi's going to defend his title against Moose. Tag team titles for TNA will be on the line as the Hardys face Fraxium. We have winner take all. We have Stephanie Vaquer versus Julia. Best believe I will be tuning in. Looking forward to it. Trevor says, if I remember correctly, that match is on Rey Mysterio's biggest Little Man DVD. Watch great matches they had in WCW. Yeah. I don't have that DVD, but I would not be surprised if it was. It's one of the best matches I've ever seen. It still holds up to this day. Sammy says, my favorite's HBK versus Taker at 25. That one's mine. I mean, that's up there. That's up there for me. I kind of lump in 26 and 25 together as a good double feature because I have special love for them, in their own way. I think 25 is the better matchup, but I was there for 26 live and in person, so I have love for that one. But a great choice there, Sammy. Thank you for sharing that. Ken says Razor versus HBK at WrestleMania 10. Great. Flair versus Steamboat. Oh my god. I mean, come on. Which one? Because they've had a few. I like the Rumble one. The Chi-Town, if I'm not mistaken. Razor versus HBK at 10 is a classic. I was just talking to Sanfran about that. Awesome picks. I wonder if Dominic Mysterio would turn babyface at Mania. I think he'd make a good babyface. Usually the guys that are great heels can be a good babyface. Just don't turn him babyface just yet. Don't turn him babyface yet. But I think so. At WrestleMania, maybe. I don't know. The whole thing with Finn Balor would suggest it. But I don't think they're going to turn Liv babyface. It's a possibility. What I love about this current era of wrestling, in the WWE at least, unpredictable. You kind of have an idea of where we're going, but it's tough. Your favorite wrestler is JYD. Shout out to the Junkyard Dog. Not a lot of people, talk about JYD. One of those solid baby faces, cool look with the chain, the headbutt, Shout out to the Junkyard Dog. Jesse says maybe he's going to get back with his dad. I think eventually that's the move. It'll happen eventually. It's just a matter of when. I think ultimately that's going to be the babyface turn. Or maybe he does turn babyface, but there's always that resentment with his dad. And it takes time for it to heal. I like the possibilities, though. You need to be hated in wrestling to be loved, as it proves in wrestling time after time. It's true. Trevor's onto something. I mean, look at what happened with, The Rock. John Cena. Some of the Roman Reigns. Sometimes you have to be hated to be loved because there's that sense of appreciation that follows. Trevor's on the money. Trevor knows what they're talking about. Sammy says, I got that ECW One Night Stand 06 DVD where Cena got booed out of the building in RVD 1. We watched that live on pay-per-view. Great matchup, great atmosphere. Sticks out as one of my favorite matches as well growing up because of that, because of the match, because of the atmosphere. Great pay-per-view. Both One Night Stands. I'm a fan of both One Night Stands. The originals, the ECW one-offs. That's awesome. What a crowd they were that night. And obviously it has the whole if Cena wins, we riot sign. Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine, the chain match. Whoa, yeah. I love it. And dude, first of all, Kent, thank you. Because one, love Roddy Piper. And a lot of people don't recognize his early work before getting to the WWE. But I do like that we have, again, a vast variety of fans here. We have fans who had just became a fan within the last year. We have fans that were relapse fans and are kind of coming back to the product. Obviously, we have people like Trevor and myself who have been watching it for 20 plus years, but here's Kent pulling out the deep bag, talking about JYD, talking about Piper and Valentine in the chain match. I love it. And it's great because there's only so much that's going to come off the top of my head. So for you to bring up this, it introduces other members in the chat to maybe a different type of wrestling or a different wrestler that they might enjoy. So big shout out there. Do you think Matt Cardona comes back to the WWE this year? I thought he was going to be there last year. So I'm going to sound like a broken record and say, yeah, I think Matt Cardona is going to come back eventually. It's the last place he has to go. He's the indie god, had a time in Impact or TNA now, AEW, some appearances, Ring of Honor, GCW, MLW. The only place he really hasn't gone to is to the WWE. I think we do see him come back eventually. His wife works there, Chelsea Green. Shout out to the U.S. champion. Shout out. I think he comes back. Boogie Woogie Man was my babysitter as a young man. Yeah, so you were in the business there. Shout out to Gabs there for the thumbs up. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Gabs. Again, a real one if there ever was one. But yeah, Kent grew up in the business. Rest in peace. Appreciate the thumbs up by Gabs, though. Thank you again. I gotta say, since doing these live streams, we've had different iterations. Obviously, you guys, for people who were there, saw the versions where it was me, with my PC set up, really my laptop, not really a PC, but having this, I think, has really elevated us another level. We are consistently getting more and more people in the chat, more and more participation, growth, if I've ever seen any, right? I like this format. I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat, though. Do you guys like this format? What are your thoughts on it? Trevor asks, have you seen Maven's videos telling all the secrets of wrestling? It's great stuff. I have. I will confess, not subscribed. Probably should be. But it's like he's always popping up on my, For You and popping up on my my feed, if you will. He has a lot of intel. I recently saw one where it was about like, substance usage, whether it's steroids. I like seeing his take on today's pro wrestling. But I mean, there was another one that was interesting. He was talking about hookup culture in wrestling, which, I mean, let's be real. I don't know how it is nowadays, but it's like in the 2000s, they were messing around. Come on now. But Maven definitely has some intel and insight, even though he was there for a short time. So yeah, awesome stuff there, Trevor. I also watched a little bit of Stevie Richards. He has a YouTube channel as well. I'm a big fan of NXT Season 1. The full season's on YouTube since we got ECW Originals. Do you think we have NXT Originals? Yeah. Sammy, and it's like the fact that you're talking about Season 1, I gotta ask, are you referring to like the competition or to like the Full Sail University NXT Season 1? Because they upload a lot on the YouTube channel, which I love. But I do think, even in both senses, we do have NXT originals. Those guys we associate with the early years of NXT. I know for me, when I think of NXT originals, I'm thinking of like the Full Sail University version, where you got guys like Seth Rollins, Biggie Langston, Bo Dallas, the Wyatt family early on as well. Corey Graves was there too. And then if you're talking about the competition NXT, where you had guys like Wade Barrett, Daniel Bryan, Justin Gabriel, David Otunga, just to name a few. Kamala was the one that taught me how to take heavy bumps. Rest in peace to all the legends that taught me. Wow. Kamala? Shout out to Kamala, the Ugandan giant. Rest in peace. What about the Hardy Men? You don't want to call them the Hardy Boys? Do you see them also back in the WWE this year? I mean, technically they are. NXT. Does that not count? But no, in all reality, I do see them making an appearance on the main roster. How can they not? It's the Hardy Boys. Book it, Muhammad. I think they're going to be there. Salvi asks, what's your favorite movie that John Cena was in? It's probably going to end up being like the Suicide Squad. I know Peacemaker's technically a series, but I like his role as the Peacemaker. Nothing against his earlier stuff like the Marine and 12 rounds. Those were fine for what they were. Don't get me wrong. I liked them in Jackpot. Ricky Stenicki I thought was funny, but I'd have to say the Suicide Squad. I'm a superhero guy. I like Marvel and DC, so I'm a little biased in that regard. Mr. James is what I got told to call him. Oh, I bet. Oh, it's a sign of respect as well, just a respect thing. So I respect that. Matt Hardy is one of the pros in NXT season one. I believe he was the pro for Justin Gabriel, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Sammy, great callback. Trevor says best NXT theme ever, Slipknot, out, all out life. NXT had some great songs as well, and not just like in terms of like the themes, but like entrance themes as well. NXT is a great brand. Justin Gabriel's protege, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It was Matt Hardy and Justin Gabriel. His role in Fast and Furious was my favorite. A role of mine of JC. I see JC and I think of Jesus Christ. For like this is an inside joke. My sister knows. John Cena. Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I forgot he was in Fast and Furious. That's right. He played Dominic's brother, right? Jacob. Yeah, it was good in there too. But I'm at this point with the Fast and Furious franchise where I'm like, we gotta end it. We gotta end it. It's been going on for a minute, and people tell me like, well, why do you still watch it? And I'm like, because I've been watching it my whole life. I gotta see how it ends. So whenever they decide to release that final movie, better believe I'll be watching it. Punk, Jericho, Hardy, Regal, Miz, all were pros. I believe Punk was like Darren Young. Jericho had what did Jericho? Did Jericho have Wade Barrett? Hardy had Darren Young. Oh, I'm sorry. Hardy had Justin Gabriel. The Miz was with Daniel Bryan. And I don't remember who Regal had as his protege. Because who else am I missing? Sheffield, Slater, Otunga. I don't remember who Regal had as his protege. But I know Miz was Bryan. Punk was Darren Young. Jericho had Barrett. And Hardy had Gabriel. Bryan and Cole, Heat felt real. Dude, it's because that Michael Cole heel run, just bashing the internet fans, and I hated that Cole. But I mean, to be fair, that's his job, right? He played his job well. You know, he got me to hate him. But Michael Cole from like 2010 to 2011, I couldn't stand. I would have watched the show on mute because I couldn't stand that Michael Cole. But nowadays, where he gets to really just be himself and call the wrestling matches, is solidifying himself as one of the greatest of all time. We all love JR. Don't get me wrong, Jim Ross, absolute legend in the business. But we got to give Michael Cole his flowers. He's just as good, I think, and just has as many legendary calls as Jim Ross potentially. Once again, if you're just joining us here on the live stream, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. We're talking pro wrestling, obviously the Raw review. We discussed that. For anybody that wants to jump in and throw in some wrestling questions, comments, anything like that, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Having a lively conversation with all our friends here in the J area. We appreciate you guys always showing up. For the people that have been with us for a minute here, the diehards, the day ones, we appreciate you, and we appreciate the ones that have joined us along the way. My name is Jose Ramos Jr. We have the J Area Wrestling Podcast every Monday afternoon, as well as live streams that take place on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. This Thursday, we have a special live stream coming out where you're able to vote for the topic, our Thursday throwback Thursday, live stream, where you can choose the topic of discussion. We have a poll up on the community tab where you can choose either a ranking of every WrestleMania logo, a career retrospective of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, my personal GOAT, or a review and recap of the Dark Side of the Ring episode, The Life and Crimes of New Jack, infamous ECW legend. Mohammed said yes. And if Muhammad says yes, then that means a big ol' yes to anybody that hasn't already subscribed. If you think and you're questioning, should I subscribe? Take a look at Muhammad's last chat. He said yes. Do you think The Rock will return to the Fast and Furious franchise? Or do you think his ego is too big? I think he appears. I mean, he's one of those guys where it's like, if the fans want it and if the money's there, he'll be there. I think he'll be there. Plus, you gotta finish the story. Shout out to Cody Rhodes. You gotta finish the story, and The Rock is a big part of the Fast franchise. So whenever that happens, I think he has to, because there was a post-credit scene in the last one that showed The Rock, so he has to be in it, right? What about Otunga? Yeah, Otunga was on NXT, but I don't remember who his pro was. What was it called? Mr. Jennifer Hudson? Was it Jennifer Hudson that he was married to? I think so. But David Otunga, I was never a fan. Again, nothing personal. His best stuff was with the Nexus. Thank you for the hearts in the chat. Appreciate that. All love, all love. Once again, big shout out to Gabs there for the thumbs up as well. Appreciate that. Nothing but love here in the chat. Keep them coming, guys. For those who are just joining us, what did you think about Monday Night Raw? Any particular matches you're looking forward to in regards to WrestleMania, predictions for WrestleMania, or even just share your story, man? I'd love to hear who were some of your favorites growing up, who are your favorites now, what got you into wrestling. Trevor asks, who's seen the movie The Wall with John Cena? Great movie for a complicated movie to make. It literally takes place in an actual one place. I don't think I've heard of this movie, Trevor. The Wall. I haven't heard of this. Official, Jackson White says, but I believe Cody is still winning the next WrestleMania. You know, it's a toss-up, between John and Cody. I mentioned earlier, I think Cody's going to go over. I'm leaning 55 for Cody, 45% for John. It can go either way, honestly. I don't know why, but my favorite Punk is the straight edge stuff. No, it's with good reason. I think it's some of his best stuff as well. I'm a big... Okay, hear me out. I love true crime documentaries. We recently watched the Netflix one on Charles Manson. So this cult mentality, I find fascinating. I'm not saying I support it, but I find it fascinating. And so to see the influence that CM Punk had as the straight edge society, bringing in Luke Gallows, Serena, Joey Mercury, that type of a heel, I think is very enticing because there's a level of truth and reality in it. You've seen people like Jim Jones and Charles Manson develop their families. I agree with you. It's interesting. Hey, good night to Zillow there. Thanks, buddy, for joining us on the live stream. Appreciate you as always. Hope you have a good night and hope to see you on Thursday's live stream. But I do agree with you, Sammy. It's really good stuff. It's a military movie. I'm surprised I haven't heard of it because usually if like a wrestler is involved, I keep up with it. So, wow, I probably should check it out. Trust me, brother, everyone hates Cena now. And people are coming to help Cody. People like Roman, Randy, Stone Cold, name it. I would like to think so. I think Austin's appearing for sure. Roman, I think, is busy with Seth and Punk. I don't know if he shows up. Randy's busy with Kevin. But who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe they all show up. Because who would help The Rock and Cena? You know? Who would like... Because I think it's just going to be them and Travis. So really, maybe he just needs one guy. But I do agree with you. People are going to be gunning for Cena now. I do agree with you. Did I enjoy Nexus's run in the WWE? I did, like, early on. Once they had Cena join, at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in 2010, after that, it kind of took the wind out of the sails for me. Because I don't know. Plus the fact that they lost at SummerSlam, that 7 versus 7 matchup to John Cena. That, again, was a little deflating. I like the idea of it, but it could have been better. It was a short-lived great story. It was short lived. Because then after that, it wasn't the same. Hope all is well, my brother. Hey, Peter, we were just talking about you as well, buddy. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for joining the live. I hope everything's doing well for you as well, my friend. Sammy says 09 Randy was a top heel. 09 Randy was a menace. 09 Randy was RKOing and punting people left and right. I think we might see something similar with him versus Kevin Owens. I think so. There's still some of that 09 Randy left inside, I think. The voices are talking to him. Nobody's helping Rock and Cena. Travis, we are not singing or rapping at WrestleMania. We are fighting, bro. Travis better be at the studio that day. You know Travis is going to be there. He has to be there. Why does he have to be there? Because I need Cody to get his receipt. I need Cody to get some of his and get that slap back at Travis. So yeah, if nobody's going to help Travis and Rock and Cena, and we're assuming it's them three, then does Cody need a bunch of people? I mean, arguably Randy and Austin will do. I don't think Roman helps though, because his allegiance to The Rock, but then I could see there being beef there because it's like, why are you choosing Cena over me? I'm the tribal chief. So maybe that leads to a level of tension between The Rock and Roman, and that'll help expedite the matchup between Rock and Roman. A lot of avenues to take here. I like where your head's at though, Jackson White. As well as CM Punk, Sammy. Yeah, CM Punk was a menace as well. Great heel. Shout out to Muhammad. Says, shout out to Serena Deeb, an absolute sweetheart. Dude, the fact that she was down to shave her head, big ups to Serena Deeb. You know, now in AEW. Ken says, glad I found you again. My other phone died. Wait, well, we're glad you found us. Right on. Right on, Kent. And I mean, as long as you're subbed, we shouldn't be too hard to find. But we appreciate that. We appreciate the support. Thanks, buddy. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully your Monday was well. Hopefully the week is going to treat you even better. Thank you for joining us on today's live stream. Just a quick recap. We did our Raw review. Had some great conversations about some of our favorite pro wrestlers. Some of our favorite matches. What got us into the business. If you're just joining us here, make sure to drop down a comment or question down into the chat and we'll make sure to address them. Appreciate that. Salvi says, how do you say Cena heel turning going in the Vince McMahon? So I think if Vince was still in charge, it's not happening. I think Vince is a very stubborn individual who would be against it because of the money. It's all business. You turn Cena heel, maybe that's going to affect his merchandise. Maybe that's going to affect ticket sales. I don't think it would affect ticket sales per se, but I think if Vince was still in charge, it would not have happened. If it happens today, like if Vince was still in charge, that's a good question. But I'm still going to stick to my guns and say I don't think Vince would have had it done just because of the money. He never turned Hogan heel. I don't think he would have turned Cena heel. Thanks for the question, though, Salvi. Punk also recreated the new Nexus in his own right. Yeah, but I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't like the new Nexus stuff. Roman will help because he won't let Cena take the belt. Roman still has an eye on the belt. It's just that Seth always got Roman's number, and Roman doesn't know how to do away with his longtime friend. I know, and that's why I'd be inclined to agree with you. I think Roman's obsession with the title is one thing, but I think what's going to lead to The Rock versus Roman is the fact that Roman's going to look at Cena like, you chose him to be your champion? Really? And I think that's where the level of insecurity comes in for Roman. I think Roman has that level of insecurity. That's what led to his downfall at last year's Mania. He could not let go of Seth Rollins, and he swung that chair in his direction instead of finishing off Cody. So we need 09 Randy Orton back again. I think we are. I think we're due for it against Kevin Owens. He's going to punt him. That's going to be the payback. That's going to be the finish. Kevin Owens is going to get punted by Randy Orton. Ken says Cena was going to turn back in 2012, and Vince said no. Cena had everything ready. Apparently, he had the theme song, he had new gear, had a new look, had a new attitude, and Vince shot it down. Kent is 100% right. Shot it down. Trevor says, I think the Wyatt Six is sadly dead in the water. I don't say that, man. I like the Wyatt Six, but I do agree their steam has left. The momentum is beginning to die down. Hopefully, they have something in store for them, but what other group are they going to feud with? Kansas still has the same gear. I read somewhere that he like had some kind of singlet or something that he was going to change the gear. So maybe. Sammy says, "Was your time different when you woke up? Mine was an hour ahead." So, daylight savings, daylight savings time. It's when the clock gets moved up an hour. For us in Arizona, it doesn't affect us. We don't get any change in terms of our time, but in terms of like shows or like live content, everything gets moved up. So, so yeah. Kent says when I see it, it was all black, but was it still like jorts? Was it still the shorts? Because I heard somewhere that it was gonna be like a singlet, and obviously we don't know. You know, we just go off of what we've heard, but that's what I've heard. I don't know. No longer than the shorts. Still, I think nowadays with this heel turn, he's gonna have to change his gear. I think we're gonna get a whole new version of John Cena. The Shield versus Wyatt family, some of the best multi tag matches during its time, sadly won't be replicated. I agree. Awesome moments there. Elimination Chamber, 2014, when it was the Wyatts versus the Shield. Even then, they had another one on Raw, if I'm not mistaken. The two best trios of their time. John Cena was the face of WWE, and I can see Vince's perspective. Yeah, I get it in terms of the business. It just makes sense. That's why I don't think he would have done it. Went down under his kneecaps. Ew. I don't know if I like that. It's kind of weird. Hey, I'm new. Oh, what's going on? To Sky. Wanted to know what's your opinion on Penta. Well, first of all, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for stopping by and taking the time out of your night to join us here or day, depending where you are in the world. But my thoughts on Penta. I'm a big fan. I think Penta has the potential to be a huge star in the WWE. They're certainly treating him as such with the vignettes, with the entrance. His match quality has been fantastic against the likes of Gable, Kaiser, and Pete Dunne. I'm a fan of Penta. I've been a fan before. I will confess I didn't watch him like in AAA or Lucha Underground. Caught him in AEW. So from then on, became a fan. Love what he's doing in the WWE. It's a great opportunity for him to reach a broader audience, and the sky is the limit. You can see the passion in when he's fighting and in his promos. Love what I see from Penta, and I'm curious to see what we're going to see moving forward. The WWE has been in a desperate search of who's going to be the next Rey Mysterio. I don't think it's going to be the case. Rey is Rey, and I think Penta answered the question when asked so eloquently. Says, I don't want to be the next Rey. I want to be the first Penta. I think that's the type of mentality that he should have. I think Penta is destined for great things, and I'm hoping they're going to be able to capitalize on this momentum that he's acquired heading into the WWE. We know he's going to have a matchup against Kaiser next week on Raw. I believe the stipulation was like no holds barred. So I'm really curious to see what they do with that. If he's going to go over, if they're going to give Kaiser the win, I'm thinking they're going to give Penta the win. But I'm a big fan. Thank you so much for the question, Sky. And again, welcome to the stream. His face needs to change as well. I'm talking about Randy Orton. Muhammad, what do you mean his face needs to change? Like cosmetic surgery? Like, or are we saying like a new attitude? Like his face need to change? Are you saying like Vince should have had Randy as the face? Because I don't see Randy as the face. He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy that you can market a company after. Great wrestler, great hand, but in terms of like media outlets and doing the interviews and the signings, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Rock, like those are your guys. Hogan, Austin, Matt Hardy and Bray's tag team was underrated. I also think Woken Matt was underrated. I just think Vince didn't. Yeah, I think you're right, Sammy. I don't think Vince got the character. That was a Matt Hardy creation. He obviously had a great deal of the creative that went into building the broken universe. And Vince, I don't think, got it. I think he just saw it as an opportunity to do these funny filters with Matt Hardy, have him laugh at the camera for an extended period of time, and thought, oh, let's pair him up with Bray Wyatt because they have a feud and because they're both kind of weird. I don't know. He didn't get it. I agree with you. Kent said, I heard he's going to have a shot at the IC title or the US belts. I'm talking about Penta. That's what it's looking like. I think he's going to have an opportunity against Braun Breaker. They had a little backstage exchange not too long ago. I think he's in line for one of the mid card titles. Muhammad said same exact face shape that he had back in 09. I think we're looking too deep now. That was 16 years ago. Gable versus Penta low-key match of the year candidate for Raw this year. Trevor, it was a great showing. I mean, there was a high level of intensity and energy in the crowd when those two fought. Awesome. It was great. And what a great debut. Had a great match and then followed up with an impassionate promo. So awesome perspective there by Trevor. Sky says, yeah, I pretty much think the same. Loved his time in AEW. Got everything to be a huge star. Pretty sure, Phoenix will join us shortly with his AEW release. I saw reports that I see Vicente said hi. What's up, Vicente? Thank you so much for joining the stream. Great ending to Raw. I agree with you. Awesome ending. We're gearing up for a triple threat match with three of the biggest stars of the company. But to reference back to Sky, shout out to Vicente, by the way. Yeah, so Ray Phoenix is due to come over. We know that he was released, and reports are saying they're already working on merchandise, gear, everything, all the good stuff for a new incoming star. Thanks for the hearts in the chat. I see that, appreciate that. And I'm curious to see how soon. Will Phoenix be a part of WrestleMania? Because maybe him and Penta are able to team up versus the team of Kaiser and Pete Dunne. Maybe that happens. But I'm a big fan of both. Some people say that Phoenix is better. Chad's just great. His push is very needed. Future world champ, in my opinion. I see it. Trevor, I think first the IC title. I was shocked that they didn't give him a run at the IC title. I would love to see him win the world title. I don't think he's going to win it, though. I would love to see it. But Chad's great all around. The comparison to Kurt Angle has been thrown out excessively, but with good reason. Thanks for the hearts and the 100s in the chat. He can go in the ring. He can go as a character. He's funny. Like, there's so many similarities. It's ridiculous. He should be a champion. And he should be pushed to the moon. I agree with you there, Trevor. Shout out to Trevor. V-Synthesis Lucha Bros, bro. Those guys are going to be great. My favorite WWE title? Probably the Winged Eagle. Ooh, wait a minute. I like the Big Gold. The World Heavyweight Championship. That's probably my favorite title of all time, the Big Gold. But the Winged Eagle is not too far behind. Missed Raw tonight due to my bills being mixed up before could watch. Damn. Freaking Netflix, dude. They're upping the price. They're upping the price. Lucha Bros is the perfect for the tag team division for real. Sky, I agree with you 100%. The Lucha Bros, I want to see them versus the Motor City Machine Guns. That'd be a great matchup. But those guys are great. Lucha Brothers, can't wait to make their appearance. P-Dubs, I'm gonna hit you in your email, brother. That cool? Go for it. That's what it's for. Go for it. Email's available in the description of the chat, the description of the video, or on the channel's About Me page. I kind of would like to incorporate the email more, like for the episodes of the J Area Wrestling Show on Mondays, kind of have like a certain section of or a segment of the show where it's dedicated to questions or comments by the viewers. You guys can use that email. Shoot me an email for any questions, comments, suggestions. It's just another avenue to be able to connect with you guys. Muhammad says, any chance we see Chad Gable back in the Alpha Academy and Jack Swagger? I don't think Swagger comes back, and I don't think Chad is going to go back to the Alpha Academy. I think it's a no on both fronts. Do you think they'll ever bring back the hardcore title? Maybe. I mean, because Travis Scott's walking around with his version of the hardcore championship. Maybe. I wouldn't bet on it, but there's a possibility. I kind of would like them to introduce almost like a TV title, and have it defended like the hardcore championship, where it can be defended on all brands and you can implement it on TikTok and social media and keep up with it. And it lends more opportunity for stars to get over and have cross promotion in the platforms, whether it's TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and use it as like a TV title, also like a social media title essentially, but still with the same intention of like the hardcore championship. I would like something like that. Vicente says NXT will be fire tomorrow. I agreed. Roadblock is looking like it's going to be a solid show. Have a couple of titles on the line. The TNA Tag Team titles, the NXT World Championship, and the winner take all matchup. So it should be a great show. Whatever happened to Saturday night's main event, it's a four times of the year type of a deal. The next one's going to be May 25th, same weekend as Double or Nothing. So they can't do it often, otherwise it's not special, right? So they'll do it ever so often. The next one's in May. Sanford 5 says, do you think UFC and WWE will cross over? Maybe, in terms of like some kind of a celebrity appearance, or even how they had Cain Velasquez do a matchup. I think there's possibilities, obviously, with TKO. I think so. Ken says TV title like back in the NWA days. That's the idea. They had a TV title back then, a TV title in ECW. Like the TV title it's a relatively simple concept, but I feel like given today's world of wrestling, where it's streaming, you can still have a TV title. But like I said, implement it with social media, have real time. And it would force people to, follow the social media sites. So I think a TV title like that would benefit them. Muhammad says Tyson Fury, Daniel Cormier. Yeah, like that. Like those kind of a deals. That kind of a crossover. But Tyson Fury is a boxer. But for UFC, yeah, I think so. Trevor says it's a slap in the face for Travis to get the hardcore title. Mick Foley should be pissed. I can see why, you'd be upset about that. But at the end of the day, it's just a novelty title. And because of his nickname of Cactus Jack, that's why they did it. I'm sure Mick is not too pissed about it, but we'll see. I'm saying maybe that incorporate that into the storyline. And that's how a hardcore title could be introduced. Maybe. Sammy says a streaming title. Yeah, essentially. I wouldn't call it a streaming title, but yeah, like something like that. But my biggest thing is it would give opportunities to like the Akira Tozawas of the world. People who aren't really on TV and having matches. Trevor says more like a low core. That's funny. Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have to call it a hardcore title. That's why I would just say like a TV title, but with the spirit of like the hardcore championship. Ken says I missed LFG this past week, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bully Ray don't take that blonde kid out. So I've only seen the first episode of LFG because I don't have A&E. I was gonna say AEW. I don't have A&E because I watched stream through a YouTube TV, and they don't carry A&E. So I'm trying to find where I can find it. I think Hulu has a thing with A&E, but it'll be after the show is over. So I'll catch like the replay of it all. I basically catch it on the clips for like on Twitter or YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, that kid is bold against Bully Ray. I don't know if you think the same, but from what Julius and Brutus showed us the last few months, they need to get those tag titles one day. Those 450s and shooting star presses were just on point. I'm a fan of the Creed brothers, been a fan since their NXT days. I like the idea of pairing them up with Chad Gable and Ivy Nile and getting them, together. I like factions. But I honestly thought they should have won the tag titles. I like the War Raiders, but we're not really doing much with the Creed brothers, and those guys can go. Those guys are freak athletes. Fan of Julius and Brutus, and they have personality. It's not like they're some kind of wormhole, a black hole of personality where they can't interact with other people. They have their moments. They can be funny. I think they have to be the tag titles, the tag champs one day. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Sky. Yeah, on last week's Raw. I think they should have won. I think they should have been the War Raiders. Julian says facts. What happened to the 24/7 title? Nikki Cross had won it like in the fall of 2022 or 2023, and she essentially threw it in the trash, or she tried to. She missed the trash can, but it was it was quickly like just gotten rid of. They weren't really doing anything with it. The idea is good. It's just the execution's the only issue. What's your opinions on CM Punk's favor with Paul Heyman? First of all, thank you so much. Is that Poof? I don't want to butcher your name, but it looks like it says Poof. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Thank you for the question. What's my opinion on Punk's favor with Heyman? I think it's going to be related to Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. They're going to have a matchup at WrestleMania, and then he's going to ask for a favor to get in the matchup, or maybe be in his corner, or stay out of the matchup. Something along those lines. I think it's going to be addressed at WrestleMania, but I don't think it's going to necessarily have to be. They could hold on to that till later in the year. But if you ask me right now, I'm thinking it's something related to Roman, where it's like either stay out of the match or get me in the match, something like that. Kent says, how long is Chad going to be gone for, and what do you think the mask in the box looks like? Kent, I gotta tell you, watch Monday Night Raw. You'll have your answers to both of them. On Monday Night Raw, we actually got the answers to those. So as soon as you get your whole situation figured out, check out Raw's episode from tonight, and I promise you'll have your answers. Jaheim, hi, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate that. Sky says, absolutely, I like the War Raiders, but I feel like there's so much better talent who can get those tag belts. It was nice to give them the titles, don't get me wrong. We hadn't seen the War Raiders together in quite some time because Eric was out with an injury. But they don't necessarily need them. I think they're fine without them. I would have liked to have seen the Creed brothers win it. Both teams uber talented, but not necessarily in need of the titles. So I would go with the Creed brothers. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. 2 solid matches, WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 40. They're going to have the third matchup, though, the tiebreaker. And whenever that happens, whoa, that's going to be big money. Big money. Will it be at WrestleMania? I don't think so. I think they'll probably do it like at a SummerSlam. Not saying this year, but I think that's going to be a SummerSlam match. Thank you for the comment. Kathy Kelly or Jackie Redmond? I'm going to go Jackie Redmond. I like her style. I think she presents a real sense of like realism with her journalism. Nothing against Kathy Kelly. Jackie Redmond, though, I like her interviewing style, and I'm not going to lie to you, she's easy on the eyes, too. Great eyes, by the way. Jackie Redmond got great eyes. But nothing against Kathy Kelly. Do you like Jey Uso, if only judge on his in-ring skills? I'm a fan of Jey Uso all around. I like the Yeet Man. You know, I'm a fan of his story and how he's been brought up. You know, the tag team division, breaking away from Jimmy, and that whole idea of there was a time where they couldn't even tell which brother are you. I like Jey Uso. In-ring, love the energy, love the crowd participation. He's over. I think he wins at Mania. I think he beats Gunther. What do you think? Are you a fan of Jey Uso? Ken says, who that ain't voted in yet to the Hall of Fame would you put in? I would like to see Demolition. I think they get in this year. For celebrities, dude, I've been saying for years, Cyndi Lauper got to go in as a celebrity. But in terms of other wrestlers that haven't been in, I think Regal is overdue. Regal should go in. Whenever Christian and Jericho are available, they should go in. For people that have been long overdue, I think Lex is finally getting in. I'm trying to think of who else from like maybe different promotions that haven't been in as well. There's a lot of people, truthfully. But immediately, like Regal, Demolition, Cyndi Lauper for my Hall of Fame induction. There's quite a few. Jackie Redmond is really gifted with incredible eyes. Muhammad has a little crush. I don't blame you, buddy. Don't blame you at all. Batista. Oh yeah, that's a good point by Muhammad. I forgot because I already thought Batista was in it because he was supposed to be in it in 2021, but backed out. So again, I'm of the mindset he's already in it, but Batista's one. Jericho, I said with Christian. I think Jericho and Christian are eventually going to go in whenever they're ready to hop back over. Regal is one that really sticks in my mind. Honestly, whenever the time comes, R-Truth, I think R-Truth is a Hall of Famer for his accolades in wrestling and just because of what he's done. Sky says, well, with those tag team talks, I think I'm going to rewatch that Mania 17 tag team ladder match. Still iconic to this day. Probably sure you know the one, dude. WrestleMania 17, one of the best WrestleManias of all time. That TLC match, fire. It's my favorite TLC match. Hardy's, Dudley's, Edge, and Christian. You know the one. Of course. Come on. That's awesome. Great pick. DDP is in the Hall of Fame. Yes. I believe it was the class of 2017 or 2018. One of those. Yeah. Diamond Dallas Page is in the Hall of Fame. MVP. Yeah, maybe. MVP's a great pick. I like MVP. But these are all guys that are like in AEW. You know, Jericho, Christian, MVP. Whenever they're ready. But to answer your question, Poof, DDP, yes, is in the Hall of Fame. Deservedly so, by the way. Benjamin's a great pickup, yeah. Oh, well, Randy, yeah. Because, like, that's okay. That's another conversation then, because those are people who are active. I'm thinking of people that haven't been in yet. But Randy, for sure. Hall of Famer, first ballot, no doubt about it. Jake introduced him, if memory serves me right. Kent, you are, yeah. We had just watched the documentary for DDP a couple nights ago. I missed the Money in the Bank at Mania. I don't like it at a pay-per-view. So I get it. I totally get why it's a pay-per-view. It's a whole event in itself. I like it. But I prefer it as a WrestleMania thing. Because it's like an all-star. You know, you have an opportunity to showcase other talent that don't have a great matchup or a great story. I would prefer it at WrestleMania. I'd have to agree with you. Not mad at it being a pay-per-view for itself, but I prefer it at WrestleMania. I'm with you, Sammy. Mr. Slickback says he's my favorite. Randy's a legend. Absolutely. Shout out to Sam Frame 5. Quick question? Shoot. Sky says plus one sub, my guy. Was looking for someone who can really talk wrestle. You deliver. I appreciate that, Sky. Thank you so much. And that was the basis of this channel. It's just connecting with other pro wrestling fans. There's a lot of toxicity out there. But why can't we all just hang out, have a good time, talk pro wrestling? So I'm glad that we got a sub out of you. Appreciate the support, my friend. Hope you enjoy your stay. We do have other videos throughout the week as well as other live streams. So hope to see you there. And again, thank you so much for your support. Appreciate it, buddy. Who'll induct Randy? Probably Cena. Maybe Triple H. Cena or Triple H. Those are my two predictions. Sky says wrestling, this damn keyboard. No worries, buddy. We speak the same language. I already got you. Mr. Slickback says, has John Cena still got one more match, right? Has a whole year. You know, the rest of this year is going to be filled with matches. We know he's going to be fighting at WrestleMania. What's going to happen afterwards? That's the question. But a lot to look forward to when it comes to John Cena. It's just a matter of who else is he going to have, right? Muhammad says, ask the question. Yeah. Great question. Thank you so much. Pee Wee Herman Hall of Fame. Can you imagine, Trevor? Off of one appearance in the, what was it, the Raw guest host? Who would induct Pee Wee Herman? Poof says, yeah, I think it gives more value to the briefcase if Money in the Bank match is only at Mania. Yeah. And again, it's a showcase. It's a great opportunity to have other people at WrestleMania. And again, it allows another opportunity for moments to happen. Who doesn't love a great ladder match? I know I do. It's my favorite stipulation. Great point. Great point. What are your thoughts on that brutal women's match AEW had? We talking Mariah May and Toni Storm? Should have been the main event. The story that those two have told over the course of the last year should have been the main event. Hollywood ending, not Halloween. Hollywood ending, fitting. Loved it. I think Toni Storm is the best women's wrestler they have, and I think she has the argument to be a top 5 wrestler in the company. Toni Storm's fantastic. Her match with Mariah May, big fan. A lot of color. They're not afraid to get, a little dirty there. Loved it. I thought, for me, it was my favorite match. Ken says, do you think they'll ever do a many people Hell in a Cell again for the title? Or did Elimination Chamber end that? I think so. I don't think we're going to necessarily get a multi-person Hell in a Cell matchup, especially with the Chamber and War Games. Is there an opportunity for it? Yes, when the story calls for it. But I don't think they're going to do it because we have the Chamber and War Games. I would love to see it, though. Let's see. Against Cody Rhodes. Oh, yeah, WrestleMania. So he's going to fight WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes. You are right, Mr. Slickback. He has an opportunity to win number 17. Cena, Triple H, and Flair should all induct him. I think it's going to be one. It can't be all of them. And if you ask me, it's either going to be Cena or Triple H. Mr. Slick and subbed. Love WWE. Appreciate that, Mr. Slickback. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you enjoy your stay. Thank you for joining the J area and becoming a new member of the community. Thanks so much. Cena ain't going bald, right? You know he is. Come on. He got to shave it off. Hey, wait. As someone who knows, man, he got to shave it off. Or, as I've been saying, get like a military cut. Cut it real short like back in the day. And it won't be as noticeable. That's coming from a bald guy. But yeah, it's not looking good for John. Or keep it. Who cares? It's his hair. He can do whatever he wants. He must have a big movie part or something. That's what I'm thinking. Because I don't know why else he would keep it that long. Cut it short. But whatever, it's his hair. And now that he's a heel, he could actually do it that way and just say, you know what? You guys don't like it? Too bad, I do. So, he can just keep up with the heel. Sky asks, who's your top 3 favorite wrestlers of all time? I love this question. I'm never tired of sharing it. Number 3, Eddie Guerrero. All-time great. Can go in the ring, can go on the mic, heel, babyface, can make you laugh, can make you cry. Eddie Guerrero, number 3. Number 2, CM Punk. Was a very pivotal figure in my life growing up as a teenager. Loved his matchup against John Cena, his feud with Daniel Bryan. Then we move forward and see him in AEW with MJF. His promo, his in-ring work, all for me is what makes me love wrestling even more. So definitely CM Punk. Number 1, Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. For me, he's the Michael Jordan. He's the GOAT. The best wrestler of all time. Had some of the greatest matches against some of the greatest of all time. His matches against Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Triple H, John Cena, Kurt Angle, Razor Ramon. I could go on and on. He's Mr. WrestleMania for a reason, and he's number 1 in my personal ranking of who's my favorite wrestler. Thank you for the awesome question, Sky. I might be crazy, but Roxanne Perez is just that damn good. She makes people look like $1,000,000 in the ring. She's the prodigy, my friend. 23 years of age, and is putting on these stellar performances. She could probably go for another 15 years if she wanted to. But the career that she's already had at such a young age, Roxanne Perez is on pace to have one of the greatest careers of all time. So happy for her, so excited, and I was a big fan of Roxanne Perez. A student of Booker T, a fan of AJ Lee and CM Punk, so I'm already there. Big fan of Roxanne Perez. Wish her nothing but the best. Love it. And you're right. She does make her opponents look great, and that's the name of the game. That's who you want to work with. Hey, if this wrestler can make me look good, why wouldn't I want to work with them? Did Cena join the Illuminati? Sammy asks. Hey, man. Theories. A lot of theories out there. Mama Ramos knows what I'm talking about. But hopefully not. He sold his soul to The Rock. Maybe. But that's for another discussion. That's another live stream in itself. How's everyone doing here on a Monday night or a Tuesday morning, depending where you are? Appreciate you guys, as always, joining us on the live stream. We've been doing great with these live streams. A lot of participation, a lot of people joining us. My name is Jose Ramos Jr. For those of you who are new to the stream, fan of pro wrestling, lifelong fan. This is a pro wrestling channel by a fan for the fans. Couldn't do it without you guys. Bailey and her need a match at Mania. That might be the move. Bailey and her, I don't think they have finished business. I think they still will move forward. If it happens at Mania, I don't know. If it happens at Stand and Deliver, I think definitely we're due for a one-on-one matchup though between Bailey and Roxanne Perez. I would love to see it. Muhammad says, "What happened to my girl Soraya in AEW?" Yeah, we haven't seen her in a while. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't know if she's injured, if she's taking time off. Great question by Muhammad there. I wish I had an answer for you, my friend. But it has been a minute since we've seen Soraya. Did you know that HBK on a hardware store and Undertaker owns a furniture store here in the country that I live in here in New Mexico? Didn't know that. Didn't know that, but I don't doubt it. Got to have your side hustle. Good for them. Wow. Awesome. I just recently found out that Shawn Michaels would do the local sports news for high school teams when it was like that 4 year period that he retired in 98 to 2002. In those 4 years, he was doing like the local sports teams. I, Something new every day you learn, right? Thank you for that, Kent. Sammy says that Rock is the biggest star. No one is close to him. You don't think he has that power to be a member? No, that's why I'm saying I'm not sure. Because, dude, if anybody, yeah. If you believe in the Illuminati, I'm not saying, it's real or not. I don't know. If you do believe in that, yeah, it would kind of make sense that The Rock would be a part of it. He has a lot of influence. One of the biggest stars of all time. I don't see Saraya wrestle anymore and Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella's retired. She had that one moment at the Royal Rumble, a nice special appearance as a one-off. And that's important to remember. It's a one-off. As for Saraya, I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while. Hopefully he's okay. Striker01, we need Travis Scott for a 24/7 title run. He does own the hardcore title. Maybe we do something with that. Reintroduce that concept. Poof says, I think that at this stage of his age, CM Punk might be like late HBK in his career, where he gets many chances at the world title in big matches, but doesn't get to win any world title anymore. But still cool to see him. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think we're going to see him mix it up with a lot of the main eventers, have some title matches, but probably doesn't win it. He doesn't win the title. I mean, he doesn't need the title anymore. Punk is already a star on his own. He's already an attraction on his own. He doesn't need the championship. Because imagine this. You can have CM Punk fighting for the title. That's your marquee matchup. Or you can have someone else fighting for the title and Punk in a separate feud. Now you have two marquee matches. He's an attraction on his own. Like the analysis, like the point. Awesome comment there by Poof. Thank you. Salvi says, your top 3 wrestlers you hated the most that were heels. JBL, number 1, JBL. Because he was fighting against John Cena, Eddie, and Ray. Those were like my holy trinity as a kid growing up. JBL, couldn't stand him. Edge, for like the Radar Superstar, couldn't stand him. Those were 2 growing up. The third, probably The Miz. Just because he was like that annoying little heel that you hated. But looking back, all 3 of them were great heels. And now you can see like my age, where I was growing up as a kid. The Miz, Edge, JBL. Those are the top 3 that I despised as heels. Good job, though. Great job. Sky says, CM Punk, you are really the guy then. Love Shawn and Eddie as well. Gotta be Rollins, Punk, and Rocky for me. Solid picks. And that's my bad, Sky. I should have asked you for yours. Rollins, Punk, and Rocky, great 3. That's a great pick. But yeah, I'm biased. Those are my favorite 3. Rocky, for me, lands at 4. Because he got me into wrestling. Rocky's at 4. So, not too far off. Seth Rollins is a great pick as well. Tremendous. Great taste. Great taste there by Sky. Awesome. Anybody else in the chat that want to share their top 3 wrestlers, please feel free to share them. Muhammad says Punk is a legend. I agree. Sanford says hot take, but Nikki Bella's overrated. Only held the longest Divas champ record because Vince wanted to erase AJ Lee's record since she was with Punk and gone. I think Sanford's onto something here. To say she's overrated, that's your opinion, but I agree. The record thing, though, yeah. Vince is petty like that. I wouldn't doubt that he wins that championship. Excuse me. She wins that championship and breaks the record. I'd have to agree with Sanfran 5. Not a hot take in my opinion, because I agree. Sammy says CM Punk should be Hardy's retirement match. Down. Down for that. What a great feud that was as well. Um, Me too. As a kid, I hate Edge so much. Ultimate Opportunist, but he did great. Like looking back now, obviously as an adult watching it, he did great. Never liked Hogan. I'm with you. I was never a Hogan guy, and it's not like obviously what we know about him now in the political world and his personal life. That's one thing, but for me, it was never about that. I just never was a Hogan fan. You know, the red and yellow. I liked him as NWO Hogan. I think Hollywood Hogan was a way more interesting character. I was always more like a Piper and Savage guy. Those were my guys in the 80s. I obviously wasn't there. I know before people say like, "Oh, you weren't alive." Like, I know, but if I was, I would be more inclined to support Piper and Savage. Muhammad says Punk, Hardy, and Eddie. Hey, we're 2 out of 3 there, buddy. Great trio. Thank you, Muhammad, for sharing that. Trevor says Austin Theory is a wasted talent. I don't think they never truly let him do him. Maybe play with the script a little. You know, I'm with you in that, Trevor. I need A Town Down Under to break up. I need that group, that pairing to end. They've already ran their course. There's nothing more to do with them. I think Austin Theory as a babyface has some legs. I want to see it. I think he can have that potential. I agree with you, buddy. Thank you so much for that. LE, top 3, says number 3, Austin, solid. 2, Roman. Sting at number 1. I love it. I love the love for Sting. WCW's franchise, one of the all-time greats. Great career in TNA, great showing in AEW. Could have had a better showing in, WWE, but we don't talk about that. Love it for Sting. Solid top 3. Sky says, same here. Rock got me into wrestling just with his natural charisma, his humor, persona. Pure wrestling, though, I gotta go Perk Angle. This time, yeah. Angle was amazing. One of the greatest of all time in the ring. Really took to wrestling like no one else. The transition from the Olympic wrestling to this wrestling, man, was insane. But yeah, I agree with your sentiment with The Rock. Just a perfect fit. Baba Booey. Do you think Penta's brother will join Penta as a faction in WWE? I do think that Rey Fenix is coming. It's just a matter of when. Does he make it for WrestleMania? Will it be after? I do think the Lucha Brothers will reunite in the WWE and wreak havoc on the tag team division. Can't wait for it, though. Thank you for the question, Poof. For those who haven't seen Phoenix in in AEW, do yourself a favor, check out Max. You'll have access to their library there. Mans is great. Some people say he's better than Penta. Up to your personal preference, though. Love it. Kent says Hogan, Mola, and Jeff Jarrett be my 3 that I never liked. Yeah. So Hogan, I get. Hogan, I get. That's like a universal thing. I'm not gonna pretend like I know Maula. You're gonna have to help me on that, and that's what I love these live streams for, is because I get educated. You guys teach me things too. I'm never gonna be the kind of person who thinks they're big enough to where I can't learn. Love to learn, and so help me out there. Jeff Jarrett, though, I get it. Jeff Jarrett was never my guy either. Like, it's not that I hate him, and it's not that I love him. I'm indifferent. Oh, Fabulous Moolah. Oh, I'm sorry, Kent. Okay, so Fabulous Moolah. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, Moolah was before my time, way before my time. But knowing, what she'd done in real life, it does tarnish it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Moolah either. What is your Mount Rushmore of wrestling? So I have 2. Because for me, the Mount Rushmore could be distinguished in 2 different forms. My personal Mount Rushmore, and then the overall Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. So I'll go with the pro wrestling Mount Rushmore. These are people that should be considered as important figures in the development and the success of pro wrestling. I don't like Hogan, but you got to put him there. A big proponent of the early years of WrestleMania and the big wrestling boom in the 80s. I think definitely Hulk Hogan has to be there. I think Austin has to be there. The biggest star of the modern era, the Attitude Era, has to be in there. And number three, I think for me personally, The Undertaker. He is one of those figures in wrestling that everybody knows. He transcends pro wrestling, has gone through certain variations of the character and different generations in general. I think you have to put him there as well. And number four for the Mount Rushmore, I think you have to have a modern person. John Cena is the face of that for it. I think it has to be um, John Cena, Taker, Hogan, and Austin. That's overall the landscape of wrestling. Me personally, Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero. I'm gonna put Bret Hart, and you're gonna see a trend in these wrestlers now, and then probably I think I still put Taker on there. I think so. What she did to the girls and young guys that trained under her, yeah, no, for sure. But it's like, okay, this is a great point then, Kent. Are we going off of three wrestlers that we don't like in general, or we don't like the characters? Like a JBL, what we were meant to boo. If we're going that way, Hogan, yeah, for the lies, Moolah for what she did, Jeff Jarrett due to his better than everyone attitude. I get that. If we're gonna go with that route, and it's like we don't like the people, Hogan for sure, Vince McMahon. If we're going that route, because of what his relationship was with his kids and this the demeanor, the allegations as well, I still can't ignore. So McMahon, Hogan, and the other one you're going off a personal encounter. Are you saying you've encountered these people in real life? Because that's damn to meet these people in real life. But again, if we're going off of like personal stuff, McMahon, yes, Kent has met people. Kent's been around. Respect. Hogan, McMahon, those are definitely the two. The third one, maybe Vince Russo. 90s HBK as a person. 90s HBK was a menace. It was a bad time for Sean. You know, obviously the substance abuse, the attitude. We would like to think that he's cleaned up. I mean, it's been 30 years. He, born again Christian, got clean, and now look at him. He's running NXT. But that's why when I hear stories about Sean and people's resentment towards him, I can't fault them, you know, because he did sound like kind of a prick back then. But I just never knew him as that because I grew up in the 2000s, so it was already past then. It was great stuff, man. Appreciate you guys in the chat again. I always make sure to share my appreciation because, like, genuinely, you guys make this the best part of the process of making these videos. So nothing but love and support. That's what I felt during this whole ordeal, and I just want to make sure you guys have that opportunity to feel that. That's reciprocated. The love, the respect, the admiration. It goes both ways. Kent shares Mount Rushmore. Awesome. JYD, Boogie Woogie Man, HBK, and Uncle Mark a la The Undertaker. Solid. Solid. Sky asks your thoughts on KO. I am from Quebec, so just want to know your opinions. He's just incredible since his debut in NXT, even before. Kevin Owens, I think, is going to go down as one of the all-time greats in the WWE. His contributions to the WWE are unmatched. His time in PWG and Ring of Honor helped grow him as the star that we know him. Going to NXT was a great call. Him having that feud with Sami Zayn, we really got to see the growth in character. Because if there's one thing we know about Kevin Owens, not only is he great in the ring, but he's also great on the microphone. Great in terms of the character, in terms of the story. Kevin Owens, what I love about Kevin Owens as well, is that he he doesn't follow the traditional look of a pro wrestler. He wears the cutoff shirt. Excuse me. Has the cutoff shirt. Comes out in the basketball shorts. Isn't a body guy, but here he is mixing it up with some of the greatest of all time. John Cena, remember that program in 2015? All timer. Having great matches against Stone Cold at WrestleMania. Having one of the best tag team matches in WrestleMania history. Unmatched. If I'm a young wrestler coming up in the PC and I see Kevin Owens, I gotta pick his brain. A student of the game, knows how to tell an eloquent story, and can go in the ring, whether it be in a unsanctioned matchup like we saw with Sami Zayn, or on a one-on-one basis like his matchups against John Cena. I love Kevin Owens, big fan of his. You guys, yeah, you guys can't see it, but I do have a figure of his because I'm a fan of Kevin. And number one, shout out to Canada because the best wrestlers are coming out of Canada. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, literally the Hart family, Chris Jericho, Edge, and Christian. Love Canada. I've always said people want to go to Spain and Italy and France. I would love to visit Canada, truthfully. It looks like a great time. Also, because I'm very much introverted and it doesn't seem like that crazy of a place. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would love to go there one day. Punk, Hardy, Eddie, HBK, Jericho, and Miz. A great list. A great list of wrestlers. Thoughts on Sheiky Baby? Iron Sheik is underrated, first of all, because his WWE title reign lasted like a month or two before losing it to Hulk Hogan. But I think Sheiky Baby is one of the unintentionally funny guys of all time because of his time online, the Howard Stern show. I think, number one, I support him in his crusade versus Hulk Hogan. Do not like him. And his contributions to the business for introducing the word jabroni. We love the Sheiky Baby. Rest in peace to Iron Sheik. My thoughts on Nakamura? Missed opportunity. His time at NXT? Great. Main roster? Hit and miss. This last US title run? Wasn't it. And it's a shame. Because I like Nakamura. I like this darker take on the character as well. But he deserves better. They don't feel like they're doing anything with him of substance. He won the US title, yeah, but it's like, now what? He only defended against Andrade. And I don't know. I expect more, truthfully. Do you think McMahon will start another wrestling company at his age in his life? That's funny you mentioned that, Ellie. Someone else had brought that up in a previous live stream on Sunday. And I wouldn't put it past him. He's crazy like that. If I'm Vince, man, I would want to rest. But from what we've heard about Vince, he doesn't rest. This guy got to stay competitive. He has to stay doing something. I wouldn't be surprised if he did it. And then he has the support of all his, loyalists. The Undertaker for sure would support him in this. I wouldn't be surprised, truthfully. Do you think Tiger Mask ever gets into the Hall of Fame? Maybe. But I know they used to do like the legacy wing, excuse me, where guys like El Santo went in. I think Bruiser Brody went in at one point. Like it was like this separate wing for like the legacy guys. Like they would have in several wrestlers from like deep history. Because I don't know if they would put him in just straight up like that. But they did put in Great Muta, so who knows? That 2015 feud, says Sky, with Cena was pure gold. You're welcome whenever you want in Canada, my guy. Pretty cold these days, but summer's coming. I'm a fan of the cold. Keep in mind, I was born in Arizona, so I know nothing but the heat. I would much rather be bundled up in layers than be in the heat. So, yeah, and I'd love to visit Canada. That's, like I said, everyone talks about like Europe and South America. No disrespect to them, but Canada, I would love to go to Canada. The feud with Cena was great though, and the fact that he got that clean win over him in his first match. Kevin Owens, my guy. Would you give your soul to The Rock? Miles Morales. First of all, shout out to Spider-Man in the chat. For the right price, maybe. I want to say no. I'm a fan of Cody and Punk, and those guys won't do it. The Rock is the one that got me into wrestling, but I'm rocking with Cody. I'm rocking with Cody 100%. We're rocking with Cody. WrestleMania 41. Cena's going down, buddy. Cena's going down. Cody's going to continue this title reign. Awesome stuff, man. And we're still going. We still got 52 people here in the chat. Give yourselves a round of applause, man. Making these last 3 live streams have been phenomenal. You know, the conversations have been great. The questions, very intelligent, very in-depth questions here. The comments are great. And we're getting more and more people here. I mean, in the last few live streams, we've welcomed in new members of the J area who just love pro wrestling, man. Oh, Miles Morales says, I'm on Break-A-Wish Cena's side for WrestleMania. Man, Break-A-Wish. Is it true they trademarked that? I thought I saw somewhere they trademarked that. You're siding with Cena? That's all good, man. I respect it, but we're Team Cody over here. War Games 25 prediction. Punk Cody team versus Cena Rock's team. That'd be fire. Yeah, I would love it. I would love it. I think you could throw Roman on Punk and Cody's team low key. I think we're going to start seeing a turn between Roman and Rock. I'd love to see it, though. Break-A-Wish. What a name. Hope everyone's doing well on a Monday stream. Next time we go live, it'll be Thursday. We're going live on Thursday to, like I said, discuss the winning poll. We have a poll going up on the community tab where you have a choice of choosing what will be the topic. Of course, we have our options where I rank every WrestleMania logo, or we talk about Shawn Michaels and a career retrospective, or we discuss a review of the infamous New Jack and his episode in Dark Side of the Ring, The Life and Crimes of New Jack, ECW's infamous star. LE says, could we see a triple threat match between Punk, Roman, and Rollins after what we saw tonight? I think that's the move. I can't see any way around it. I think you're right. George says, what's up? What's up, George? Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for stopping by. Consider subbing and joining the Main Event Mafia, maybe. Ken said, heard Roman's bloodline on Cody's side and Solo's side on Cena's. It's a possibility. I think Cena and Solo have that allegiance to The Rock. Maybe they team up. It's a possibility, Kent. Love Cena. Mean face. Looks like he waited a long time to do something like this in the ring. I feel like we're going to get a rejuvenated John Cena. Something fresh. I mean, he hasn't been a heel in 20 years, and we know he wanted to be a heel back in 2012, so can't wait for that first promo. Triple H was underrated, but he buried a lot of people. It was that reign of terror in 2002 and 2003 and 4, I suppose. Love it. Love it, but Triple H or Shawn Michaels. I love Triple H, but Shawn Michaels, 100%, no doubt about it. John Cena, the champ, is here. John in the chat. Oh my God! Wait a minute. We got Cena in the chat. Join me, Jose, and together we shall break the wishes. Oh no! I gotta rock with Cody. I'm sorry, John. Why? WWE, Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill, the big 3. What a segment on SmackDown. Thank you for the comment. Will we ever see John Cena going back to babyface? Yeah, I think he'll finish as a babyface. I can't see him finish as a heel. He'll finish off as a babyface. Thank you for the heart in the chat. Wonder if Cena ever comes clean of where he grew up. What do you mean? Was he not born in West Newbury? Sky says, that's it for me tonight. Gonna be there for the next stream on Wednesday. See y'all, everyone. Wish you a good night or a day. Hey, appreciate you so much, Sky. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. Thank you for the sub. Thank you much for the support. We'll see you again on Thursday's live stream, buddy. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Be safe. Take care, buddy. Miles, the Break-A-Wish Foundation. Fire. That's fire. Muhammad says WCW or NWO. I want to say WCW, but like everybody basically joined the NWO. I'll go WCW. Actually, no. WCW or NWO? I'll go with the LWO. Poof said, would it be hype if Randy turns heel on Mania and helps Cena? That would be crazy. Randy, Cena, and The Rock. Damn. Wow. Who the hell would stop them? Jesus. That'd be tough. He's not from there originally. No kidding. I didn't know that. Because he always talks about West Newbury. When I beat Cody, everything will be back to normal as I go Super Cena. Damn it, Cena. You're not beating Cody, though. Cody's getting that dub. Do you have MCU or DC content or are planning to do? No, I mean, we can do that for the live streams. That's why I open the live stream. That's for conversation. You know, I love talking about film as well. But the channel itself is really dedicated to pro wrestling. And I try not to deviate from that and maintain that niche. Just because we're trying to grow in that regard. But if you want DC and Marvel content, we can say that for the live streams, or you can follow me on TikTok. We have the link in the description and on the About Me page. So for TikTok, thank you for the hearts in the chat. TikTok, I'm a little bit more broader. Kind of want to be doing more free stuff there. So check us out on TikTok for anything like that. But thank you, though, for that, Sammy. Imagine if Eddie Guerrero runs the LWO. Well, I mean, he did found it. You know, he was the founder. But if he was around today, I'm sure he would be. I'm sure he would still be around and doing the LWO story. No, grew up with him and his twin brother still lives here in town. No kidding. For real, Ken? I mean, this is too good to be true, Ken, because you got a lot of pull out here. You can't see me, the champ is here, says John. Do you like Cobra Kai? Love Cobra Kai. Love the Karate Kid saga. You know, when the latest season came out, oh my god. I won't spoil it for anybody, but I'm a fan of how they finished Cobra Kai. That's a show that my dad and I started watching. Big fan of Cobra Kai. I love it. Love it. Britt Baker was in Cobra Kai. That's right. That's right. Thank you for the sub, Jackson. Official Jackson White. Thank you so much for the sub, buddy. Yep. Cena's actually coming back 20 years later where he started the Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect on the 17th and now ending it next week. Can't wait. Can't wait. Is there any storyline that takes place long as the current bloodline to Final Blood? That's a good point. Not consistently, I don't think, unless you want to count like the NWO and WCW, unless you want to count that. Maybe that will be your closest. I know for WrestleMania, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H had like a 4-year thing, but it was on and off again. The Bloodline thing has been consistent. I don't know if there's been one like this. I think the NWO might be your closest one. Again, shout out to Jackson. Appreciate the sub, buddy. I'll shoot you an email. Go for it. I'd love to hear more about it. I think Roman, Punk, and Seth are having a triple threat at WrestleMania. I think you're right. I think that's the move. And the question is, who's going to win? Star-studded triple threat match. We're looking forward to it, though. Sammy says, I feel like karate was always my passion because now I want to learn karate. Sanford 5. My brother was in karate for a little bit there. But yeah. No, Cobra Kai was great, though. Really enjoyed that. I will be watching the new Karate Kid movie, Legends. It's going to have Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan in there. I will be checking that out when that comes out. Punk's going to his long hair again. I don't know. He has like this weird, hair going on. It's a lot going on. I don't know if he's going to go back to the long hair. I dig the short hair, though. I was gone for a minute and Cena was here. You just missed him, San Fran. You just missed Cena. I know. Blink and you miss it. Imagine if Cody didn't return at WrestleMania and it was Goldberg. I'd be pissed. Miles, I'm with you. For sure. I'm not a fan of... Well, okay. Not that I'm not a fan of Goldberg. It's just not excessively. I think he had his time. If Cody doesn't return, though, I think Drew McIntyre or Jay would have been the one to end the title reign. But I'm glad Cody's back. I think it worked out. Punk will win because Roman won't be more focused because of Seth. Maybe, yeah. Plus, he's due for it. I mean, Punk, come on, he's due for it. Yeah, I was in karate. Funny times. He was. Remember that? Remember when you hit the kid? So, they were sparring, and he landed a shot in the chest region, and they had to stop the match to get the kid to regain his breath. He got the wind knocked out of him essentially. Karate Kid Legends and Superman Legacy are my top movies this year. Yeah, Superman's gonna be great too. I can't wait for that one. That movie, I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four. Very curious as to how the Disney and Marvel is gonna portray the Fantastic Four. Looking forward to the Thunderbolts as well. Big Marvel fan, so we'll definitely be checking that out. Superman, 100%. Karate Kid. John Cena back in the chat. Which do you prefer between the world title changes? Wait, hold on. Let me read that again. Which do you prefer between world title change hand easily, like in the past, or like now that it takes way longer for the world? I like it now. I like it now because the title reigns means something. If I held the title for 6 days, it's like, does it mean something? But for someone to hold on to it for an extended period of time, have title reigns, have storylines, I like it that way. I like it. I think the length of a title reign should matter more than the amount of times that you've had the title reign. So I like it this way. Will MJF ever join the WWE? I think so. I think eventually he will. Don't know when, but he's still very young, so there's a lot of time for MJF to jump. One question though, do you think Jey Uso will win against Gunther? Because Gunther is always attacking Jey, even last night on Raw. I think we're gearing up for a new world champion. It's an early prediction, but if you ask me right now, my opinion could change. But if you ask me right now, I'm going with Jey Uso. Ken says, so you're more of a long gamer. I would say so. I think if it warrants it, yeah, surprise title change, absolutely. Look at Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley won the championship January 6th and dropped the title in less than 2 months. So when it calls for it, go for it. But I'm more of a long gamer. That's just my taste. Because it feels rewarding when you follow it long enough and it's like, oh man, the ups and the downs. And when it finally happens, it's like, whoa, I'm a long gamer. Yeah. Me too. Do you remember when Ray won the title and lost to Cena immediately? Dude, don't even get me started. I was furious. Because I was so happy for Ray. I was so happy for Ray to like win the world championship. Sorry, the WWE title. And then Cena comes back and he wins it an hour later. And I'm like, for real? Why even give Ray the championship? That was the first time we knew Cena was a heel. Hell no. Oh, I was so furious. I remember that though. Yo, Cena, what's the funniest thing you ever done? Sanford 5 out here talking to Cena. Will Moxley return as Dean Ambrose to WWE? I think MJF is more likely to appear than Dean Ambrose. But if John Moxley ever makes it to the WWE, I think we stick with Moxley. I don't think he goes back to Ambrose. Would you like if Austin and Rock happen again at Mania? No, I'm gonna pass, Miles. I think that ship has sailed. If they had an interaction, a run-in, maybe fine, but not a full match. I think we're good there. Any chance you will see Jericho retiring this year? No, I think maybe next year. I think we're getting close, Muhammad. Sanford 5 beating Rey Mysterio for the WWE title on Raw. There you go. No question marks. Are you? That's crazy. You know I'm not going to answer. Another interesting live stream here on a Monday night. We appreciate the participation. You got me. Okay, now you got me laughing low key. That's funny. That's funny. 2027, maybe. 2026 is good. Ellie, there's always that one person. There always is. Sammy, it's funny though. I won't lie to you. Though the fact that he said, or they, I don't know what they are. Why are you making this weird is even funnier. Do I have you played 2K25 yet? I have not, because I'm waiting on the weekend. I know it's available, but I like to have the hard copy. I understand it's on digital, but I like having it, honestly, like as a physical copy. But I haven't played it yet. Who do you think is going to be WWE champion in 2026 and 2027? It's probably going to be Cody, Roman, Punk, like one of those three. That is if Punk is still around by 2026 and 27. But I'm thinking Cody, Roman are still going to be in the mix. Maybe Drew, someone like that. Someone like that. Maybe Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, someone there. Xbox or PlayStation. I play more Xbox, but thanks to Sanfran 5, who is the gaming aficionado, we do have both the PlayStation and Xbox. But I play more Xbox. I grew up as a PlayStation, user. As a gamer who's a collector, I prefer physical games than digital. Sanfran knows. He's the gaming aficionado. So I do both, but if it really tied me to one, probably the Xbox. We're gonna start winding down here on the stream. Any other questions or comments, please feel free to throw them in the chat there. We have been running for 3 hours on this stream, and it doesn't feel like it. I feel like it's really flown by. Got to give major shout outs and thanks to everyone who's joined us in today's live stream. Again, continue to throw in some last minute comments or questions. It's been awesome. What year do you see Randy Orton as champion again? I think we could see Randy as champion by the end of the year. Maybe next year, more likely. So to give you an answer, Mohammed, I'll say next year. I'll say next year. What happened to Damian Priest's push? You know what? He had the world title for a minute there, and I feel like that was good enough for them at the moment. They don't want to overpush him and have people hate him, which they already do at the moment, it seems, which is why they're relegating him to the feud with Drew McIntyre. If you ask me, though, I think Drew should go over. Damian's push, it's going to come and go. Damian's going to be just fine. He'll be in the mix for the title again. Like, I have no doubt in my mind. But for the purpose of WrestleMania, he should lose to McIntyre. McIntyre needs that win way more than he does. Hey, what's good to JJ? Says, what's good? Sending blessings from London. Appreciate that, JJ. Hopefully everything is well for you. Glad you're joining us here. Consider subbing and becoming a member of the J area. What would be your wrestling name and theme song? What kind of gear would you have? Sammy, that's an interesting question. Oh man. I would love to keep my real name. I would love to keep my real name because it's a very important part of me, my story. Obviously, you can see my name's a junior, so I have the honor of sharing that with my father, and he with his father. Technically, I'm the third. Legally, I'm junior. I would love to keep my own name, but if I had to change my name, I mean, ideally J, as the first name because it's my first initial. It'd be like an honor, or really a way to honor my family because Jay, we're all Jays. My mom's nickname is Jay, so. And as for my last name, I don't know. Ideally, I would like to keep my own name. Ring gear, I think, would be very similar to Kevin Owens, having just like the shorts, because I think that's comfortable as hell. Something similar to Kevin Owens. If not, I like Cody's, where it's like the long pants, something like that. Sean, maybe minus the chaps, but something like pant wise, or the shorts. Wrestling theme song. Themes. I'm stuck between two. I would go with California Love, Tupac, Dr. Dre, or Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper. Those would be the two. One of those. We need Roman versus Rock before we die. Miles, I agree with you. The world depends on it. Civilization and life depend on seeing Rock versus Roman. I couldn't agree more. Has The Rock taken over WWE? Basically. JJ, basically he has. What year do you see The Miz as champion again? I don't. I think we're good. I don't think so. I don't think we will. Sometimes making up a wrestling name is like making a stripper name. It's got to be unique and people to remember. You're not wrong, San Fran. And right now, off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Kent, what's the hardest bump you ever took? You know, I have the fortune of saying I haven't really taken a bump. I leave it to the professionals. I have too much respect for the professionals to do that. But in terms of the bump, I mean, I've fallen off a ladder, not by choice. But yeah. Does sticking a fork in the electrical outlet count? Yeah, San Fran did that as a kid. Stuck a fork in the outlet. Flew halfway, not even flew full way across the room. Miles says my name would be JX3 and a heel as world champion doing a pile driver to Jimmy in front of Jay with blood everywhere. Wild. Gotta love the heels. Gotta love the heels. JX3. P-Dub says heel all day. Damn right. My name would be Arab Red Rum. All right. Not gonna get biblical, but do you think we are in the end of times? All signs are there. You know what? Truthfully, I understand. You said not to get biblical, and that's fine. But I don't think we're ever really gonna know. I think us as people, we have those inclinations. You know, if you read the book, the signs are there. But truthfully, I don't think we're ever gonna know. People could say they were the end of times at the turn of the millennium. Other times throughout the world, I don't think that's for us to judge. I think only one being knows when is the end of times. But I would say no. I don't think so. Red Room is crazy. Yeah, because it's murder. Shout out to The Shining. Love The Shining. Great movie. The Motor City Machine Guns versus the Hardy Boys might be possible now. That would be fire. Love it. Motor City Machine Guns versus the Hardy Boys. Throw in the Lucha Brothers in there too, and you can recreate the TLC matches from back in the day. Ooh, down. And also, do you see daylight savings ending anytime soon? I don't think it's ending anytime soon. I mean, we just started. I don't know. I never understood it. I enjoy it here in Arizona because that means wrestling is an hour earlier. So instead of like the shows ending at midnight, they end like at 11. I'll take it. Could Vampiro from WCW succeed in WWE when WCW got bought out? Maybe, but it wouldn't be like as a viable character. I think it would have been very much like the Hurricane. Love Shane Helms, but it wouldn't be as something, you know. Kent said they're voting on it soon. Do you think they're gonna really end it though? Like truthfully, do you think they're gonna end it? My uncle loved WWF. He died months after 9/11 from the attack in New York. Can you send him a shout out? Shout out to your uncle. Shout out, rest in peace as well. There was a bill to pass it, but it failed. I don't know. It's in the talks. It'd be interesting. What would you name this era since WrestleMania 40? I would call it the Renaissance era. Thanks, he was a very good up and coming pilot. Rip. I like the idea of the Renaissance era. Everybody has like a different take on it. Some people say the Renaissance era, some people say the Paul Levesque era. I like the Renaissance era because it is like a fresh take on wrestling. It's a revitalization of the business. It's another boom period. I like it. That's what I've been calling it, is the Renaissance era. Plus, it just sounds pretty cool, truthfully. You know why it started, don't you? Ken, I'm gonna be honest with you. No, I remember just growing up, knowing about daylight savings and realizing, isn't it like an energy thing, like conserving energy or something like that? If I'm not mistaken, you're gonna have to educate me. I believe it's like an energy or like a some type of resource, conservation. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm off, but that's what I thought. But yeah, please feel free to educate me on that. Daylight saving is because the sun set an hour earlier. Yeah, but I don't know why I thought I read somewhere that it was because of some kind of conservation. Ken says in the Great Depression they wanted the workers to use the most light there was. Oh, so they. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't know why I thought there was something else there, but I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, hey, thanks for the lesson. It's like I said earlier. I'm never gonna be the kind of person who's too big, in the head to say like, oh yeah, I know everything. I don't. So I welcome the little lesson, little education. Never hurt nobody. Only Americans call it daylight savings. We just say turn the clocks back or forward. I never knew that. You know that. Do you think NXT's match should happen in the main roster? What do you mean NXT match? Interest to think that Punk came back for 2 years. Still, he only booked with Drew, Seth, Zayn. There are still many opponents. Yeah, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Cody. Those are the big ones on the docket. Roman as well. All matches I want to see. There will always be more questions than answers. We can't be shy to ask questions. That's a bar. That's a bar by JJ. I do believe in the saying that there are no such thing as dumb questions because you should be able to ask. Oh, like for WrestleMania, for example, and beyond. Oh, okay, like having an NXT. Okay. Well, I mean, they do kind of have them. Every now and then they show up on the main roster, but it's like if you're going to have two NXT stars compete, you might as well just keep them in NXT and just do that. But, like, for example, let's say if they defended the NXT title and had like Obafemi versus, I don't know, Wesley, just throwing out a name there, and had it at WrestleMania, you could do it that way, but then what would you do for Stand and Deliver? You know, they did do WrestleMania 36 when Charlotte challenged Rhea Ripley for the NXT title. Those are the only examples I could see it happening. Ken said, granted, I wouldn't want to trade places with my grandparents or any of them that went through World War II or the Depression, because my personal depression bad enough. Yeah, I'm not going to. That's one thing I'll never take for granted when I was born. This is the time period I was destined to be alive, and I'm going to take it, and we're going to do the most with it. I would not change it for anything. One or two NXT matches should be enough. I don't know. I just feel like if you're going to do like one-offs, that's fine. But to have the matches, just have it at NXT. In my opinion. Have you seen the? Oh yeah, The Rock, Young Rock. Yeah, I watched it. It got canceled. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it for the most part. What happened to the pay per view that bring Raw and SmackDown? I can't remember the name. Oh, bragging rights. Bragging. They did it for twice, 2 years. Bragging rights. You a Cardinals fan? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, you know what? Because we're on the hold on. Because we're on the vertical live stream, I can actually move the camera. I am not a Cardinals fan. Hold on. San Francisco all day. San Francisco all day. We got to represent San Francisco, Bay Area, hence the name J Area. We represent the 49ers. That's our team. Niners, Warriors, and Giants. Don't want to give people motion sickness from moving around like that. Colin. Oh yeah, Colin in Black and White, big series. Yeah, on Netflix. Yeah, we watched it as well. We watched it as well. If you had more hours in a day, how many more do you want more in a day? Oh, that's a good question. I think I would go even number and just go 30. If you had more hours in a day, how many more do you want? I would go like even number 30. Nice jersey. Thank you. We actually got to meet Jerry Rice in person. It was for my birthday, my 21st birthday in 2019. Almost had to remember my age. My family surprised us with a trip to Las Vegas. Didn't know Jerry Rice was going to be there, and we had the opportunity to meet him. If you want to check out, there's a video on my TikTok as well. I think it might just be on my TikTok actually. But we were able to meet Jerry Rice. Really cool dude, very patient with us. Didn't feel rushed at all. He's exactly what you would hope a celebrity would be. Very kind, very understanding. He spoke to us like a genuine person, and we got to ask him questions. One of the greatest, interactions I've ever had. Big shout out to my family for organizing that for my birthday, 2019. It was an awesome gift. Great dude. Can't say when people say don't meet your heroes. I now understand the saying. Then you have the wrong heroes because Jerry Rice, dude, stand up guy. Matt, I have a shirt hung and framed with Rice on the back. Arsenal, oh, wrong. Different Rice, right? I like this girl named Leslie. Should I have been talking to her since August? Should I go for it? She likes to be, dude. You only live once. Well, I guess they say you only die once. The point is, we have nothing to lose, man. If you like this girl, you have similar interests, shoot your shot. The worst they can say is no, and then keep moving forward. Maybe don't be as bold, you know what I mean? But kind of ease your way into it, hang out with her, get to know them even better if you don't already. Go for it, man. Don't hold back. And I think it's better just to find out. If you go about your life with the what ifs, you're going to have regrets. How are you going to live your life without living your life? Go for it. Shoot your shot, buddy, and report back to us, Miles. Okay. I like Rice on the wall. Warriors, my team too. So great. We got Jimmy. Jimmy Butler has been fantastic. Rejuvenated the season. Had a rough start, but this second half here, following the All-Star break, we're looking good. We're moving up the rankings. We were at the 11th seed for so long, and now we're at the 6th, creeping up on the 5th. Warriors are looking great, man. I like all teams. I like all teams because got so many people in all professional teams in other areas. Just love sports, man. Sports are awesome. Any legends do you want to see wrestle in NXT? I don't know. I never really thought of that. I kind of want to see like AJ. I'm pretty sure AJ made an appearance not too long ago, but seeing AJ in the match would be cool. I don't know. I never thought of that. Who's the one to watch now in NXT? I mean, Obafemi, he's the world champion. But if you want someone other than that, I think Javon Evans. Javon Evans has a lot of potential. He reminds me of like a lot of RVD and Jeff Hardy. Has that type of appeal. Has the crowd behind him. His moveset is fantastic. 20 years old. Has his whole career ahead of him. This guy's going to be somebody. Javon Evans is the one I would watch for. He's going to be in a street fight against Ethan Page tomorrow. Or I guess I should just say Tuesday. On NXT Roadblock. Keep an eye on Javon Evans. I expect big things for him. Be yourself and go for everything in life. JJ knows. Come on. Go for it, buddy. Not all people, children, act right, specifically 100% of the time. Yeah. John Cena should wrestle in NXT before retiring for good. That'd be cool to see him interact with NXT. I do want to see him against Joe Hendry. I don't know why I drew a blank there. Him against Joe Hendry before he hangs it up. I know it's a matchup Joe Hendry wants, and it's something the fans want to see. I say go for it. I think that'd be awesome. I'll just ask her to acknowledge me. That'll be a yes, and I'll be good. Oh, come on. Come on, Miles. Be a little bold. But hey, only you know your friendship or relationship with this girl, so do what you feel is right. At the end of the day, man, all we can be is just respectful. Be respectful. That's it. But hey, acknowledge me. Throw some hints. Throw some hints, man. As a heel or as a face, John Cena as a heel and Joe Hendry as a face. That would be cool. I like that idea. B-Dub says, I sent that email, brother. Hope you have a good night. Hey, appreciate you, B-Dub. Have a good night. I'll make sure to check that out. I'll probably get back to you in the morning. So appreciate that, though. Hope you have a good night. We'll see you again for the next live stream. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good one. We still got 21. Dude, we had as many as like 90 people in the chat. We're now at 21. It's beginning to slow down, which is okay. We're going to start to close up shop here. I'll give it another couple minutes, probably round it out at the end of the hour. Give us a nice round number there. If you have any other questions, comments, please throw them down below. Otherwise, we're going to start to call up. Start to call it. I don't know about you guys, but my time over here, it's 10 minutes till midnight. Conversation flew by, man. We started this stream at 8:30. Will the Hardys do a ladder match or TLC one more time? Sammy, I think one more. Those guys are crazy. You know, Jeff is due for a ladder match this upcoming Friday at Sacrifice against Moose for the X Division title. But dude, I think, yeah, on the WWE, they are due. Where do I find that email so I can start sending you those show and tell emails? So the email is going to be in the description of the video. You'll find it down below. And then you can also find it in the About Me section of the channel. So if you go to the opening, like the homepage of the channel, and click like the About Me, it'll show you there. The easiest way is just go into the description of any video. It's real simple. It's literally jareawrestling@gmail.com. That's jareawrestling@gmail.com. If you want to see it, again, it's in the description of the video or in the About Me section of the channel. Speaking of the Hardys, will they show up on NXT tomorrow night? They will, Muhammad. They will be defending the TNA Tag Team Championships against Fraxium. Should be a great matchup. The Tag Team of the Year versus the Tag Team of the Millennium. It should be a fantastic bout. I'm thinking, well, actually, no, I'm not even going to tell you guys. Check out the episode of the J Area Wrestling Podcast that was released Monday afternoon. I share my predictions for every episode, or rather, for every match for Roadblock. Make sure you check that out for my predictions. I thought they were facing an NXT Roadblock. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow's NXT Roadblock instead of tomorrow. No, tomorrow's NXT Roadblock. It's treated as a special episode. It's not a PLE. Not on Saturdays. Yeah, no, it's not a PLE. It's going to be on Tuesday. Well, tomorrow. Or Tuesday. Because, I mean, it might be Tuesday already in some places. It's on episode of NXT. I remember when I did a pile driver to this dude that stole my girl a year ago at school and was acting like Kevin Owens. Just ruthless, Miles. Miles is ruthless. Don't play no games around Miles. That's a very rare for that to happen. Well, I mean, because they just had, a PLE not too long ago, and then on top of that, Stand and Deliver is coming up. So, Stand and Deliver is going to be the weekend. I think it's the same night as night one, actually, April 19th. They just had Saint. They just had Vengeance Day. So, we'll be seeing them for Stand and Deliver, the next PLE. Okay, guys, I'm going to go and start wrapping it up here. It's been real. It's been fun. Sammy, thanks for the live stream. I will for sure catch the next one. God bless everyone and good night. Stay safe. Sammy, much appreciated. Thank you so much for your support and joining us on the live stream. Great conversation as always. Look forward to seeing you in the next stream. Kent, all as well. Thank you so much for the conversation and your perspective and bringing in the education for me at least. So thank you so much in that regard. So yeah, we're gonna call it here. Thank you guys for joining me on today's live stream. It was a great conversation. We talked Monday Night Raw, a lot of history. Good night to Ellie as well. Appreciate you, buddy, for stopping by. Thank you to everybody that subbed to the channel and continuing to support and allowing us to grow into a bigger and better community. Would not be possible without any of you guys. Of course, with that being said, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. Thank you so much for the participation and the great conversation that we had. Mohammed, enjoy your rest of your night as well. Good night, buddy. Everyone, be safe, be careful. We'll catch you on another live stream. And again, make sure to keep your notifications on for other videos throughout the week. If you haven't liked the video, like it. If you haven't commented, comment and subscribe to stay up to date with all things pro wrestling. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.